Let's get into it. There's a Ralts prize, but the Ralts being prized I don't think is like that big of a deal. Because I feel like you usually Mirage Step in this matchup anyways as the Guardy player. So if you're going to Mirage Step no matter what, it doesn't really matter too much. George has an interesting hand. There's a lot of energy in it. A lot of cards in Alex's hand. There's a lot of cards. We got the Force Seal Stone. We have a Cram. There is getting rid of I don't like getting rid of the tablet because you need quad tablet to KO Guardy EX in the late game with the does Alex throw by like never leaping? Yeah, Alex messes up by benching Oricorio. I don't like getting rid of the tablet here as Alex. I think instead you should just Ultra Ball away. Keep the tablet, attach double turbo active, Ultra Ball away the Cram-O-Matic, and then put the Force, get a Genesect, put a Force Seal Stone on Genesect, and then just use the Force Seal Stone to get 2 more Genesects with the Battle VIP pass. Because now you just lose, like the tablet's just too important to be able to have the threat of chasing Guardy. Now here comes the Ultra Ball. But yeah, like I said, I think we should just keep the tablet in this situation. I like keeping the tablet here. Big fan of keeping all 4 tablets around in this matchup. You just want to have the threat of like it's not that hard towards the end of the game to have the quad tablet KO Guardy X. I guess it's just not that hard to have. Like you have like 3-4 turns to like start to go through your deck and get to that point where you can go boss quad tablet KO. Like it's not difficult to do at all. So I don't like the idea of like losing the tablet there at all. We should try and keep the tablet around. We could have just gone like Alex could have gone Ultra Ball away the Cram and the Vacuum, retreat to Genesect, escape up the Mew back into the active, attach the double turbo to the Mew, use the Force Seal Stone, get a or goes like this with the okay, this is different actually. Now Force Seal Stone gets VIP pass for 2 Genesects. Uses the first Genesect first. I think yeah, with the way that played out there, I'm fine with using the first Genesect first there. I guess in the other situation you would have just had 2. No, if your start is like really weak like that, if you had the tablet in hand here, only going Genesect for 1, I would have just used the Force Seal Stone immediately. I would use the Force Seal Stone immediately. Instead of just drawing 1 card and hoping for it to battle VIP pass, I think I would just use the Force Seal Stone to get a battle VIP pass to make that first Genesect draw more powerful. And then here I would just grab double Genesect off this battle VIP pass. Because the extra draw from the next Genesect could make a difference here. So I would get double Genesect off this battle VIP pass. Because like your first Mew is not under any threat, and you just want the extra draw power to hopefully set up a little bit more. Because like you could go first Genesect, second Genesect could like draw some cards that are playable, but not like more Pokemon, and then the third Genesect could get you more Pokemon, which then sets you up more. But yeah, you should definitely just go triple Genesect here. Getting the Mew, I see so many people do this where they get the second Mew over the third Genesect, but you're always benching 3 Genesect. So I don't know why anyone. I see so many people do this in situations where their active Mew is never under any threat. Which is like this situation here. This Mew is not under any threat. This Mew's big chillin'. Big sleeping. So yeah, it makes no sense to not to have this be a third Genesect. And then try and find Mew plus Oricorio at some point as well. Choice belt to bench. So actually the choice belt, actually where the choice belt should go to a Mew here so you can threaten like the boss KOization without having to burn a tablet, but should go to the bench of the active. I would put on the active here because this one is more likely going to attack this turn. And then not need Box of Disasters. And then the next turn, you're going to want to retreat to the other Mew VMAX with Box of Disasters and go for a knockout. So I think actually the choice belt's better on the active Mew here. So I would have liked to have seen the choice belt on the active Mew here. Another Genesect for 3. Finds a Fusion Energy. You're probably discarding the Fusion Energy and keeping the Ultra Ball here. You do lose the possibility for quad Fusion Energy, which is kind of annoying. But you're probably just Ultra Balling away Vacuum and Fusion Energy here, to be honest, to get another Genesect and draw again. I can't think of a reason to... I don't know. The fusions can't be... It's so hard to set up the fusion play, and Ultra Balls are just so important. To keep you playing the game, the Ultra Balls are just too important. And at this point, if you didn't get a fusion down turn 1 as an attachment, it's like really hard to get to quad fusion. I don't know. You shouldn't bench Oricorio in this matchup. You should bench Oricorio in this matchup if you go second, but not if you go first. Because then you stop the turn 2 knockout with a Guardy EX. But with Alex here, Alex is about to bench Oricorio and definitely should not bench Oricorio here. See, this is what I'm talking about, the fusion energy. They're just going to start clogging your hand. And now you don't have an Ultra Ball to like free up your hand. Yeah, I really do not like the way Alex sequences. I think you just give up the fusion there. You just give up the fusion energy there. You just give up the second fusion there for sure. You just give up the fusion energy there. Keeping Ultra Balls like literally your most your Ultra Balls are literally draw cards in this deck. Ultra Balls are like literally your best cards. Vacuums are like secondary to that being pretty powerful for draw cards, but not as good as Ultra Balls. So I think Alex should have Ultra Balled away the Fusion Energy and the Vacuum. Because now we start to see this hand starts to clog up a little bit here. And then Alex does bench this Oricorio, which you definitely shouldn't do. There's no reason to bench the Oricorio right now. I think you should have just passed with both Ultra Ball, Fusion in hand still. I don't know. You want to progress your board state a little bit more than that, I think. I would want to progress my board state a little bit more than that. I think Quad Fusion is kind of like an unrealistic... It's not unrealistic. It's just really hard to do in this matchup. Quad Fusion is like really hard to like make work in this matchup. Unless you like attach a Fusion down turn 1, but Alex had a turn 1 double turbo. Because you have to get 4 fusions in play and then also boss the Guardy at some point. It's just like a really unrealistic thing to happen. Well, but I guess Alex did already give up a tablet, so maybe that's your only way to KO a Guardy off the bench anymore at this point. So maybe Alex does have to keep 4 fusions around, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I like progressing the hand a little bit more than that, though. Fusions are good to attack with Genesect. I mean, that is true. But you could just attack with... You can just, like, attack with a Mew, though. You could just Psychic Leap with a Mew and not put it back in the deck. And that's usually the exact same thing. It depends what their active is. What if it's a Mew VMAX, then you have to KO with a Guardy anyways. Well, I guess you could KO with a Genesect. But usually I just find myself using, like, 2 fusions on a Mew and just using Psychic Leap instead. Because usually Psychic Leap is KOing whatever their active is. Because they just usually had to use a bigger Pokemon. Because they don't want to attack with Guardy X usually. They usually want to go for 1 KO. So Psychic Leap usually does the same thing. Except you usually rather preserve a Genesect than a Mew V. Because the draw power is more important when you're getting Ionoed. Yeah, now Alex benches the Oricorio. Also, it takes 1 less energy to attack with Psychic Leap for a 2-prizer than the Genesect for 3. And the Oricorio bench is really bad because this locks... The Oricorio bench is real bad from Alex because this locks him out of being able to use Psychic Leap at this point, basically. As long as George doesn't boss KO the Oricorio or boss KO Genesect, Alex can't use Psychic Leap. So George can kind of just beat up on these 2 Mews with literally anything. George can just start punching these 2 Mews. And then put Alex in a bad spot through that. So Alex can just ignore every other Pokemon on the board and just start hitting these 2 Mews. With literally, it doesn't have to even knock them out, but as long as you're just doing some damage to them, it's doing something. So, yeah. I was going to say it's probably it's correct to retreat here, but the Ralts actually, at this point now, the Ralts doesn't do damage to the Mews because there's an Oricorio in play. But if the Oricorio wasn't in play, there is a threat of the Ralts doing 10 damage. So you'd want to have the Mew with the Choice Belt against the Ralts, because otherwise if the Ralts hits the Mew without the Choice Belt, then the Box of Disaster gets like pre-broken. Which you could like vacuum the Choice Belt away and then get the Box of Disaster on this Mew, but it's like more work than you want to do. So you do want the Mew in the active with the Choice Belt. Glistening Droplets over Psychic Leap? No, but I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what he thought. I'm just telling you it's a misplay. I don't care what he thought. I don't care what Alex thought or did. I'm just telling you what Alex did is a misplay. Glistening Droplets is also like a viable attacker in the matchup, but it's not something you force into play. There's no reason to force Oricorio into play here. You gained nothing by putting Oricorio in play this turn, except if you get Ionoed, it's not in play. If you get Ionoed, it's in play now versus at the bottom of your deck. But the value of keeping the bench space open... The value of keeping the bench space open is more valuable than having an Oricorio in play. Why does it lock out Psychic Leap? Because if you Psychic Leap, at this point, if Alex uses Psychic Leap, you only have 1 Mew in play, and then George just goes boss KO your lone Mew in play, and then you can't attack with Mew next turn. Yeah, I never really care what the players are... I mean, that's obviously what Alex is thinking, is that I like having Oricorio in play here, but that's like irrelevant to whether or not it's a misplay or not. Like, it's irrelevant to just be like, oh, but Alex likes having Oricorio here. It's like, yeah, sure, who cares? It's a bad play. Like... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Alex likes. It matters if it's right or wrong. Can't believe we let Mew ever have Ultra Ball and Quick Ball. I know, it's actually such a disgusting difference, to be honest. The lack of Quick Ball is so big. So over to George, gets the Mew. Looking for the Battle VIP pass here. Actually, George's hand kind of sucks, I believe. But if we get a Battle VIP pass here, it's fine. I think it's going to be a Fall Crystal. Battle VIP on the... Ooh, okay. I agree with you. The Oricorio was no bueno. Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Is like your comment. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, obviously, Alex valued the Oricorio in the moment. So I think from George here, we're gonna probably see, or we're probably gonna go down the duplicates route or whatever it's called, Mirage Step. So optimal plays are so optimal. That is just facts. Yeah, this is basically it. Greninja for 2, Cresselia and Energy. I think the rest. Oh, there is an Iono in the hand here for George. I wonder if... I think George probably should have started this sequence with the Iono here. Actually, I don't like the... Let me peep this again here from George. Actually, I don't like a lot of these things that George did here. Hold up. I was too busy talking about glistening droplets. I feel like we should just open up the turn with Iono here from George. Why are we using Mew before Iono? I don't think there's a reason to do that, right? if we're always using Iono here, right? We want to see more cards. We want this Curly on the bottom of the deck as well to potentially use thing. And we want to increase our odds of Mew seeing a Battle VIP pass. So I don't like the sequence at all from George. What George should do here, Fall Crystal from Mew, I like it. Attach active, and then just play Iono. And then you literally just play Iono. You don't even retreat yet. You just play Iono, see what you draw, go from there. But see, now we're going to go through it like this. You're going to get the Battle VIP. But like, if you play Iono and then use Mew, you increase the odds of seeing Battle VIP pass. Because if you use Mew first, you could see 6 cards and not see Battle VIP pass. Then you shuffle those cards back into your deck. And then when you play the Iono, you could see some of those exact same cards. But if you Iono and then use Mew, you see 0 repeat cards. So you see theoretically 12 new cards, because you can play Iono, not shuffle your deck, and then use Mew, and you don't shuffle the cards on the bottom of your deck back into the deck. So you see 12 fresh cards to potentially find a Battle VIP pass. So you drastically increase your odds of seeing a Battle VIP pass if you just play the Iono and then use Mew afterwards instantly. So this is a bad sequence here from George, because we're going to see George play the Iono here anyways, because the hand from George sucks. And even at this point where George does Battle VIP pass for Greninja, there's a lot of energy in George's hand, so I don't hate the idea of using Greninja here, especially because I think George is playing the double reversal energy build, and building up energy in your discard pile is important. The one reason this would suck to do first, though, would be you want to build on your next hand to have more options on your next turn. If like George uses Greninja now and then just plays Iono, the cards you gain from the Greninja use are just on the bottom of your deck now. You don't get to keep them in your hand to build for more options on your following turn. Now Alex could judge you or something on the next turn anyways, and that's fine. But if Alex doesn't disrupt your hand, you want more cards to work with when your turn starts, right? So I'm not sure I like this Greninja use here either from George. But the initial sequence was just bad to begin with. Like the Mew shouldn't have even been used until after Iono was used here. And now we're just going to see George just play the Iono because the hand sucks and you just want more options. See, the Iono gets played no matter what, so you should just play the Iono first. So you know, Ralts hit, boss. Jeez. This hand sucks. I don't hate using Collapsed here, because it could be a little bit annoying for Alex to deal with, but you probably hold it because you probably want to use Mirage Step next turn as George here, so you're probably not doing that, because Mirage Step is pretty good in that hand if you top deck an energy. You go Ultra Ball for the Mirage Step, use the Mirage Step. So for Alex here, you just want to KO this Mew to stop the potential of a turn 2 Candy Guardy attack. Keeping the Mew around increases your odds more so than keeping anything else around. So Wilson just wants to go KO active, ideally with Max Miracle. I mean, if it has to be a Techno Blast, who cares? But ideally with Max Miracle. And actually, if we're looking at the hand here, it would have favored Alex if this bench space was open, because then you could actually bench this Mew down after the Iono happened. And like when like I was talking about in that last game where it was the lost team up against Lost Box, as Lost Box, you don't really want to stress play around Iono, because Lost Tina plays like 1, maybe 2 Iono, and Dan did play 2 Iono. But in this matchup, Guardy plays 3, sometimes 4 Iono, or 3 to 4 Iono, I should say. So the chance of them playing turn 1 Iono is like pretty high, especially because they also play like Luminion a lot of the time. So like if they're like, well, I got an Ultra Ball, but I want to play a Straw support, I don't want to play a Research, I'd rather play an Iono, you know, Ultra Ball, Luminion, Iono. So the chances of getting Iono turn 1 as from George is a lot higher. So what Alex should be playing is if pretty consistently as if they're going to get Iono next turn. Now with the, but like I said though, we got a pretty good hand here from Alex though. The big question is, do you Ultra Ball away the Meloetta? Which I'm not sure if we want to keep that around or not. We do have the 4 fusions in the deck. Playing the Judge. See, I don't like this. The escape rope here is bad. The escape rope here is really bad from Alex, because the best Pokemon to KO here is probably the Mew. I'm like confident Mew's the best Pokemon to KO here. And if you play the escape rope, George is just going to send up Greninja. So if your option is between KO and Mew or KO and Greninja, I could see an argument where KO and Ralts is better. But it's the best thing to KO here is Mew, because I think you're most concerned with trying to just like slow the Guardy player down from attacking as opposed to setting up Curlias, especially because they play the Mirage Step. Going after a Ralts is like so much less important. So no matter what, George is going to have the option of the Mirage Step, but you want to take away the option. You want to take away the option of. You really want to take away the option here of Candy Guardy and giving, because like George is like, if I end up with Mirage Step, that's fine. But it's like, ooh, if I have the option of Mirage Step or Candy Guardy, now I have a choice, right? Now I have options. But if you KO the Mew, the option of Candy Guardy is so much less likely. You want to force George down the route of only having the Mirage Step option. So the escape rope here is bad here from Alex, because now George is going to push up Greninja. And actually, because Alex has the Judge in hand, all Alex needed to do here was play Ultra Ball, get Mew EX, attach Double Turbo to bench Mew, play Judge. There's actually an argument to actually not attach the Double Turbo, and that would be, we have 4 fusions in the deck, so we might actually start wanting to build up a Pokemon on the bench with fusion energy instead. So from Alex, to be honest, I wouldn't have hate to see Judge first. Also, if you Judge and then draw into an energy and you've already attached an energy for turn, you can't attach an energy to continue your Genesect draws. So I think the correct sequence here from Alex is Ultra Ball away, we decide if we want to keep the Meloetta. So say we want to keep Meloetta. We definitely want to keep the Mew. So we keep Meloetta, keep Mew. We Ultra Ball away the Cram and the Escape Rope. We get Mew VMAX, evolve to Mew VMAX, play Judge, draw from there. And then go from there. Because George has like a 6-card hand now. You may as well make it a 4-card hand, right? And hopefully, and George's hand does suck, but Alex doesn't know that. So you can't really like play off that as a possibility here. So you assume Judge is the higher value play here. But I actually wouldn't attach the energy here because you have so many fusion energy left in your deck right now as Alex. As you draw into them, you need, like, if you're going to conserve the fusion energy like you did as Alex, that means you want to be able to play them as you draw them. So playing the double turbo here means you're more likely to get clogged down by fusion energy later. Where should you attach the fusion here? Where should the fusion energy be attached to? Probably the Oricorio. I kind of like the Oricorio play. I'm digging the Oricorio play. I'm gonna go with. No, it's I kind of like the Oricorio, to be honest. I kind of like the energy on the Oricorio here, to be honest. I'd say Oricorio. If they only have 2 Ralts, still KO Mew. If they have 2 Ralts, KOing Ralts is pretty good. Because if they just go Candy Guardian, that's all they have. They're kind of screwed. So yeah, if they have 2 Ralts, I would go after the Ralts for sure. But if they have 3 Ralts, I think KOing the Mew is a little bit better to remove the Guardi EX option. Yeah, I kind of like the Oricorio. But yeah, I do not like the way that Alex is sequencing this at all so far. Like I said, the best thing to KO is the Mew. Just don't even play the Escape Rope. Ultra Ball away the Escape Rope, unless you really value something else better. Definitely don't Ultra Ball away the Mew here. The Mew is way too important. Well, maybe at this point it's not that important because you board locked yourself with the Oricorio. So actually, to be honest, from Wilson here, getting rid of the Mew over the Meloetta maybe does make a little bit more sense. I'm not going to overly think about that. But yeah, don't attach the energy before you play the Judge because your goal should be to get these fusion energy out of your deck. So as you move through your deck and as you draw into them, you don't want them to clog your hand. So you want to play the Judge first. And then if you draw into a fusion energy, you can play it down immediately and progress through your deck more aggressively that way. And then does favor the Meloetta of the Mew. To be honest, with the board lock the way it is, this could actually be correct, to be honest. I do like evolving the one with the Choice Belt here, and then we're going to try and use the Box of Disaster later on. I don't think it was prized here. And yeah, the Judge happens, like I said. But like I said, we should be knocking out the Mew, not the Greninja here. And we should have kept around both options of the Meloetta and the Mew, to be honest. So we should have, like I said, Ultra Ball away the Escape Rope and the Cram-O-Matic, and then just KO the Mew there with the Mew VMAX. And that's what I was talking about with the energy as well. Like, even right here, it's like, well, this kind of sucks. I have a double turbo in my hand. It's like, yeah, that does kind of suck. Yeah, like, it does kind of suck. Like, the double turbos in the hand, it's like, we would have liked to have played that. So, like, you want to, before you play, like, a shuffle draw supporter in Mew, if you have a lot of fusion energy left in the deck. Now, if you want, like, turn 1 Meloetta attack, you probably should just be attaching your energy as you see them, because the chance that you hit your energy is super low. But if you didn't put 3 energy in play turn 1, you have all your energy in your deck, you should probably play the Judge first before you attach, because as you draw through your deck with Genesect, you want to be able to play the cards that you draw as frequently as possible, and energy are things you can play. So, and we see Alex already getting punished for attaching that double turbo off the initial draw of the Judge. And it's not like a thing, it's just not being like anecdotal, being like, oh, Alex got punished, so we should have played it differently. You just should have always played it differently here as Alex. It's not like an anecdotal situation. This is like weird. I almost feel like it's fine for Alex to evolve us to a VMAX because of how much Alex has already screwed himself over by how he's set up his bench here. So I don't hate evolving to a VMAX here, but chooses not to. Okay, it does end up choosing not to. So just keep it around the option of Psychic Leap, but to be honest, I feel like this only works if George misplays, but maybe you go about that route and you hope George KO something off your bench to open up your Psychic Leap option. I don't actually know about this from Wilson, to be honest. I'm not sure about this. Because I feel like this literally only works if George misplays. There's a Town Store in hand. You don't really want to give... You do want to draw more cards, though. I think you definitely value drawing cards higher here as Wilson. You definitely should put the Town Store in play. Use it. I wouldn't get Box of Disaster here. You do want it, but I wouldn't put it in play yet because that gives George too much time to find the vacuum and vacuum it away. You want to combo the Box of Disaster with like Iono or Judge. So I don't like the Box of Disaster grab here because it gives too much time for George to punish it. I believe we can draw another card with a Genesect here. So Wilson's getting a little bit ahead of himself. But see how much more cards I can see. Another energy, bro. Another energy. See, this is why if you, like I said, if you go like turn 1 Sparkle plus attach fusion, you should draw, as you see energy, you should attach them because the chance you see your energy is like way lower. But if you don't turn 1 Sparkle, you should, if you're playing a Judge or an Iono, you shouldn't attach your energy for turn. Because then as you draw into it, you want, like, drawing cards with Genesect, the number one thing in your mind should always be, how do I maximize my draws with Genesect as the game progresses? That's, like, super important. Like, how do I maximize my draws with Genesect as the game progresses? And also, like, this is going to be a little bit awkward now for, look at Wilson's hand. If Wilson had another Mew VMAX in play, Wilson hit is way better. And like I said, with the way that Wilson already board locked himself because of the Oricorio, I feel like maybe just grabbing that other Mew VMAX off the Featherball and evolving it was just correct there. Because of how Wilson has already board locked himself to begin with. So then, like, you would be able, you just copy Max Mirror. You also get to copy Max. The big thing is, so you have another Mew to retreat to potentially take advantage of the Box of Disaster. But I think more importantly, you can use Max Miracle here and then potentially reuse the active Mew. Or not more importantly, but it gives you like more flexibility. Now I would, and the reason that feels like it's probably fine is because Wilson has board locked himself. So it feels like it is probably fine to play it that way. If Wilson hadn't board locked himself, then it'd be a little bit different. So we see George go for the Refinement Kirlia. So no Mirage Step happening this turn. Oh no, it could still happen this turn. There's not as much power to come from the Mirage Step though, because the board is pretty full here for George. So the Mirage Step would only be able to get like 2 Kirlias. So you can go like 1 Kirlia, Mirage Step for 2 Kirlia. So that's still probably what we want to see from George. If you go triple Refinement Kirlia and then a Kirlia gets boss KO'd, you do start to like kind of run out of, especially if it gets like Lost City boss KO'd. That could be annoying. Gets the Force Sealstone as well off the Town Store. That's like one reason you don't want to put the Town Store in play as Wilson, but you kind of had to put it in play for Wilson's situation. So I don't hate Wilson putting the Town Store in play. Because also you're fine if George puts a 2-prize Pokemon in play. You actually kind of want to see that happen. So here comes the first Kirlia. Yeah, the hand is kind of dead for George. I think George should probably play this Pal Pad and put that Iona back in the deck to increase the odds of seeing an Iona here, because this hand sucks. So I would like to see George gives up the Battle VIP Pass for the potential to retreat the Mew, I guess. Gets an Iono anyways, though. Okay, so we're cooking. We're cooking. Yeah, like I said, oh, wait, I guess you're never using... my bad. You're never actually using... George actually never is using the Kirlia play here because the Ralts wasn't set up to the active. You can't do both. Yeah, never mind. You can't do both here as George. You can't retreat and use Mirage Step unless you get Candy Guard EX. Well, I guess you could have done that and then Mirage Step, to be honest. That would have actually... That was the thing that could have happened. But yeah, George would have had to push up Ralts. But for how dead George's hand was, you definitely have to push up Mew there. Yeah, for some reason I thought we could like retreat and attack in the same turn. I don't know why I thought that. All right, George does have Candy Guardy. So now George can do the thing that I was saying where George just kind of forces... George can do the thing I was talking about where George just starts swinging at these Mews and then kind of board locks Wilson and like doesn't KO anything else. We'll see if George goes that route or not. Because George has Candy Guardy and can attack with Guardy EX here. It does set it up pretty well for Wilson to get the return knockout though. I don't actually know how I feel about attacking with Guardy EX. But like I said, the game plan of going down that route is so good here. I think it's pretty good from George to attack with the Guardy EX here. It just seems pretty good. I don't know. Curious to see what George ends up doing. Thinking about the Ultra Ball. Has already attached for turn. There's the Ultra Ball. Could just go for a Shiny Arcana Guardy as well, and then just use Shiny Arcana and draw some more cards. Or the Kirlia and just draw with Kirlia, and just save the Ultra Ball. I guess that's fine as well. And then what we should see from Wilson on Wilson's turn is like boss KO, the Kirlia with the energy. We'll see, though. I don't know. This kind of leaves George's board pretty... I don't know. I guess you get the extra draw power going, but you like have nothing cooking now. Like, boss KO on your Kirlia with energy here is like, puts you in a really bad spot. Is thinking about putting Artisan in play. I think you might as well. I don't see a reason not to. Here is George. You do kind of want to keep your Collapse around still to be able to... You want to keep Collapse around to be able to, like, remove a 2-prize Pokemon off your side of the field. I wonder if George should have ever attached Active instead of to the Kirlia. You do want to... The idea of building up your Kirlia to the point where it can one-hit KO a Mew VMAX is nice. But not losing your Mew almost seems nicer here. I think George is playing the double reversal build, so I feel like stressing getting the psychic energy built up on a Kirlia is way less important when you play the double reversal. Curious George should just Candy Smack. Well, no, Wilson would only need 2 tablets because George already attached return to the Kirlia. Actually, that's like a big deal from George. George probably shouldn't have attached this energy to this Kirlia, and George should have attached this energy to a Ralts. This energy should have been put to a Ralts, because I think the best game plan here from George was Candy Guardy X, swing with Guardy X. Well, if you do 250, 2 tablets. Yeah, so in this situation, Wilson would only need 2 tablets, right? Unless I'm trolling. No, it would just need 2 tablets. That's a lot easier. But if George had actually just attached yeah, the manual attachment here from George was bad. It should never go. Also, another thing you just want to do in general is you never want to like overload all of your resources. When there's like 2 Pokemon of equal value, you want to like basically spread the value of your Pokemon around when you're like not attacking. When you're not, if you're attacking with your Pokemon with if you're attacking your opponent with a Pokemon that is the only true threat on board, then your opponent's always like, oh, okay, No, 3 tablets since he did manually attach because Guard EX got 270. No, but the manual attach went to a Pokemon that can't become a Guard EX. So the manual attach would have to go to a Ralts and then Candy Guardy, then put 2 on there, which is 40, which makes it 270. But in the current situation, George would have to put 3 energy on the Guardy, which makes it 250. You want to like spread out your resources effectively, or your value. So like, if you're not gonna, you might not get all these Curlias. Do you really want 2 Curlias in play, and then one of them to have an energy, or 2 Curlias in play and the energy on the Ralts? 2 Curlias in play plus energy on the Ralts is a lot better because it spreads your value. But if you but whenever you're like making a threat for the turn and attacking with the threat, and you know your opponent has to respect the threat, then you basically know your opponent has to KO that. Like if George just knew Alex had to KO the Mew, then you can start to put all your value into one of your other Pokemon. So George could put like 3 energy on this Curlia, but because George knows if Wilson doesn't KO this Mew, George just wins the game, then it doesn't matter how much energy George puts on this Curlia. But because there's nothing making Alex KO anything on George's board besides whatever Pokemon is the most valuable, which is a Curlia in this scenario, then you don't want to put all of your all your other value on the Curlia as well. So this energy shouldn't even be on the Curlia to begin with. It should always be on a Ralts that maybe becomes a Curlia. Because then if you put this on a Ralts before you use the Iono and you draw into 3 Curlias, okay, then a Curlia ends up with an energy. But if you only draw into 2 Curlias, then you have 2 Curlias plus a Ralts with an energy. So you actually spread your value out. And then when Wilson goes boss KO a Curlia, you don't just lose a Curlia, you just lose a Curlia, not a Curlia and an energy in play. But George should have attached to a Ralts as well, because that would have also opened up the opportunity of the Candy Guardy plus Force triple tablet from Wilson for a response. And like I said, Guardy is not always Guardy's not always a ridiculously powerful attacker in this matchup, but it is really, really powerful when you board lock yourself like Wilson did. Turn 2 Guardy X like swing is usually pretty good in this matchup. Depends what the rest of your field looks like. It depends how likely it is they're going to Psychic Leap as well, because that's just annoying for them to like Psychic Leap and get out of it. But when your board's like this, like Wilson's, you board lock yourself with the Oricorio, then attacking with Guardy is super valuable, because the damage you put in play with Guardy is like almost always sticks around, because Wilson can't afford to Psychic Leap. Because if Wilson Psychic Leaped this Mew VMAX, after it gets punched with Guardy EX, then George will just go Bench Station or Evolve to Shiny Arcana, boss KO your lone Mew VMAX in play, or your lone Mew View in play, and then the game just basically ends. So I guess you can maybe make a comeback with like Meloetta Sparkle at that point, but it would be like you put a lot of pressure on Wilson to have like a really good play on the next turn. But see, now that it's just like a perfect target for Wilson, which is just boss KO Curlia. But yeah, I think for sure Candy KO Guardy, having prepped the Psychic Energy on a Ralts was definitely the best play from George. But this is like a weird scenario that doesn't happen a whole ton, where the Mew player lets you, they lock themselves out of Psychic Leap, or like a clean Psychic Leap. So like maybe George is just kind of playing on autopilot a little bit here. It's not really thinking about that too much. But even then though, this energy shouldn't be here. Wilson just immediately played. Wait, hold up. Isn't there a boss in Wilson's hand? Or is there not a boss? I thought there was a boss. Am I trolling? Oh, I thought there was a boss in Wilson's hand. I was saying, boss KO the Curlia here is definitely the best play here. But I guess there's not a boss. We do have a fusion energy. I actually honestly have no idea what Wilson's going to do here. It's a Sparkle. I thought there was a Sparkle and a boss. But I guess there's not. Because boss KO Curlia here is like the best play, I think, for sure. The Mew's like has lost a lot of value at this point. Now the Mew's not as valuable. And we got the Lost City too, so it's definitely the best play. So we can attach a Fusion Energy to the Oricorio or the Genesect. Not the Mew. Alright, this is a really bad... No, don't do it. Genesect or Oricorio. I'm actually not too sure which... I think Oricorio is a little bit better, because like getting the Genesect to 3... No, this is such a bad play here from Wilson. It should definitely be on the Oricorio or the Genesect. What Wilson is thinking here is, oh, I want to protect my Fusion Energy, because if my Fusion Energy stays in play, then I can get 4 Fusion Energy in play and hit with Meloetta really hard. But if your opponent is bossing KO on your Oricorio or bossing KO on your Genesect, you're winning anyways. That's you already winning. But now that, once again, now you're investing all of your resources into 2 Pokemon, which is the 2 Pokemon George only has to look at anyways to begin with, because you board locked yourself out of Psychic Leap. So this just like makes these higher value targets for George to hit. Because you kind of want George to boss KO Genesect or boss KO Oricorio in this situation, to be honest. But now there's even less reason to do it, because there's not like it's like if you put a Fusion Energy somewhere, maybe George is like, all right, how does this work out in the prize trade if they can attack with this Pokemon with the Fusion Energy? Should I boss KO this Pokemon with Fusion Energy to throw off the trade and not give them that option as an attacker later on? How much do I care about that? How much do I care about Meloetta Quad Fusion Energy? But now it's like, oh, if George just KOs this Mew VMAX, you remove all threats from play. And now George can just fully invest in knocking out the active. All right, we got a Cram and the Mew VMAX here from Wilson. Like I said, I think Wilson should have just like put the Mew VMAX in play last turn. Okay, we got the heads, so we should go with the boss here. Like I said, we're just going boss KO the Curly off the bench. Just boss KO Curly. We have the Lost City as well, which makes it even that much better. We got the box at disaster on the Mew V as well. We got that cooking. Although ideally, I don't think you actually want to attack with the Box of Disaster Mew this turn. I think you'd want to save it one more turn. But because Wilson didn't get the other Mew VMAX in play last turn and couldn't use Max Miracle with the active one, you probably have to retreat to the bench Mew now and then use the bench Mew instead. And that allows George to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to attack with Cresselia and put some damage on the Mew to break the box. And then your box is broken at that point. But yeah, we should go Boss KO Curlia here. We'll see what Wilson does, though. Losing the Palpad there, to be honest, kind of sucks. This is like definitely a 3-boss game, potentially, where you go like boss. Because like it's possible George's next turn is like just terrible and can attack with Cresselia, and then you'd want to boss again, and then maybe at the end of the game you'd want to boss KO the Guard EX, but now you only have 2 bosses to work with. So the Palpad draw there, in sequence of draw there from Alex was kind of unfortunate, to be honest. Yeah, you really don't want to attack with the Box of Disaster Mew here. So if Alex can find the Switch Cart, I think you'd want to go retreat Switch Cart. Dude, that hand is so bad. And this, once again, though, this is what I was talking about with the energy clog in your hand. Because Wilson attached energy before Judge instead of judging and then attaching energy, the energy clog in the hand is becoming more of a factor. So, to be honest, like, you just love to see the punish, to be honest. You just love to see it. That's all I got to say. You just love to see the punish. All right, Max Miracle knockout goes to the Lost Zone, which is, there's a Ralt prized and a Ralt in the Lost Zone for George here. So that's not very good. But like I said, George isn't in a situation where you really want to one-hit KO this Mew VMAX anyway, so George is probably just going to use Cresselia and put some damage on this active Mew, evolve up some stuff. And then, once again, Alex is going to be looking for boss again, because you really don't want to KO Cresselia for turn, but then it's the last boss for Alex, which is not good. Energy coming down to Curlia. That seems fine, because I assume that one will probably become a Shiny Arcana this turn, and then the Ralt evolves to... Actually, you might... Should George try and use... I keep calling it duplicates, but I forget what it's called. I don't think there's a Curlia prize from George. So I feel like the reversal energy should have just been held from George. This Curlia should become a Guardi EX. Mirage Step. This Curlia should become a Guardi EX. No, because I guess you want to punch the Mew. Actually, this is actually kind of awkward for George. No, but if George plays the vacuum, you can just play heavily for the vacuum play, right? I think George should go, I think George should go play for the vacuum if it's in the deck, if George plays the vacuum, and then go for this to become a VMAX. Don't attach the reversal energy, and then go for the Mirage Step play and get 2 more Refinement Curlies and play through. Well, no, but there's one in the Lost. Oh, there's only 1 left. Why do I think there's 4? I thought there was 4 refinements and a Mirage Step. In my head, that's what I just thought about. Okay, that doesn't work anyways. All right, so I think George should just... Honestly, if George can get the one-hit KO this turn, you could just go one-hit KO this with the Shiny Arcana. Maybe, yeah, maybe that's what you do. Okay, yeah, Shiny Arcana, one-hit KO. It gets knocked out by this. Wilson goes down to 3 prize cards. Wilson has burned a tablet, so can't boss KO the Guard EX, which is coming back to that tablet that shouldn't have been used at the beginning of the game. Here comes the Collapse Stadium. Actually, the Collapse Stadium here I think is actually bad from George, because it allows Wilson to Psychic Leap now. But getting rid of your Genesect is definitely not the play here, I don't think, from Wilson. Well, no. Getting rid of the Genesect here is not the play from Wilson. Especially because George just telegraphed the Iono, so you know that if you get rid of Oricorio, George isn't going to go boss KO a Genesect with a Guard EX, although you probably wouldn't care about that happening anyways, because that opens up enough bench spaces for you to then like get Quad Fusion in play and take the knockout with Meloetta. But this is like George is bailing Wilson out here, and now Wilson could get rid of the Oricorio and then get their own stadium next turn, bump the stadium, and get access to Psychic Leap again, which is what, if Wilson gets access to Psychic Leap in this game, I think Wilson just wins. So I think it's a mistake from George to put the Collapse in play, and then I think Wilson is messing up by getting rid of the Genesect. Now Wilson still can bump the stadium and put a Mew V in play, but you'd rather have access to triple Genesect and triple Mew as opposed to 2 Genesects, because then you can just start to dead draw. 2 Genesects and 3 Genesects worth of draw power is like a huge difference. So like you want triple Genesect, triple Mew, but so yeah, I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake on both players' parts, to be honest. I think George shouldn't put Collapse in play here, because I think it benefits Wilson for the Collapse to come into play, because you get access to Psychic Leap, and then Wilson should get rid of Oricorio if the Collapse is coming into play here, which it is. Unless George is like really... The only reason I could see this is George is like all in on trying to win this turn. But we'll see. Here comes Shiny Arcana. Draw 2. Got the Ultra Ball. It's possible George has the one-hit KO here. But if you do that, then the box triggers, and I don't know, you're not in that good of a spot as George, to be honest, if that happens. But, and also now, another thing with this board state now is the threat of Quad Fusion is also now all of a sudden live, because the bench space is opened up for Wilson, but without a Fusion Energy getting knocked out. So Quad Fusion is like a live threat now from Wilson, which it wasn't really before until the collapse came into play. So now if George gets the 1-hit KO with the Guardy, all of a sudden, Meloetta 1-hit KO is like a more of a possibility on that Guardy EX. There's a Palpad grab. I don't think Palpad's doing very much here. I think we're just gonna. We might just see a punch from Shiny Arcana here from George. To be honest, dude, George has nothing. Actually, does George have the knockout? George might have the knockout here. We'll see. Has the Candy Guardy EX? I think there's a. Yeah, has the Candy Guardy EX. I can't tell with the other cards. I don't know what we're getting rid of here. Maybe the Luminion because we have the Super Rod, but if there's not another supporter in hand that you want to use, then you probably want to get rid of the supporter. I think I might get rid of Pallet. Gets rid of the Super Rod, actually. I don't know if I agree with that because after your Shining Arcana Gardevoir is going to get knocked out here, and if your Shining Arcana Gardevoir gets KO'd here, well, actually, no, if you get the 1-hit KO with Shining Arcana, it's knocking itself out. But you'd want to be able to Super Rod it back into the deck, I feel like. But I don't know if the 1-hit KO is possible here from George. That's 4. 7. That's not enough. You need 9. Attach retreat. I think it might just be like a soft punch. Wait, that's 5. Wait, am I messing up the math here? Okay, so we're not KOing it though. We're short. Yeah, so we're short here. So it can get cleaned up later. But see, here's where Psychic Leap from Wilson is just broken. Yeah, and now the Psychic Leap is possible. But you want a Psychic Leap with 3 Genesects in play, not 2, because that gives you more draw power to... Yeah, actually... This play from George is just bad, right? George should just punch with Guardy EX here. Punching with Guardy EX here is literally the exact same as punching with the Gardevoir, except you don't give Wilson a Psychic Leap target. Like I said, the collapse never should have come into play. Yeah, so this is like George should have been in a fine spot. Like George looked like George was playing for the 1-hit KO. If George gets the 1-hit KO there, it doesn't feel that good, to be honest. It feels like, okay, you have no draw power in play. But when we end up in a scenario like this where George whiffs the 1-hit KO, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I whiffed the 1-hit KO. Now I've given them access to Psychic Leap. I've given them a Psychic Leap target. I lose. So at this point where George realizes I can't get the 1-hit KO, George... Well, the collapse never should have been put in play to begin with. Like that gives Wilson too much to work with, I think. Unless you're just hell-bent on getting the KO. If you're hell-bent on getting the KO, then I guess maybe it's okay. I'm still not convinced that's correct. Because I'm not sure the price trade works in your favor even if you get the KO, because then the box triggers and you just Wilson gets the return KO. But yeah, Wilson the Psychic now Wilson literally just wins if Wilson gets Psychic Leap here. I don't see a world, and there's the vacuum in hand. So like, yeah, Wilson's cooking already. So we just play the vacuum. Is that triple tablet? Dude, what? No, it's a switch card. Okay. Dude, if Wilson vacuums away the judge, I'm going to lose it. We got the vacuum. Dude, if you get rid of the judge, I'm going to lose my mind. So all you do is vacuum away the switch card, maybe a tablet, because the quad tablet at this point is not a reality. So getting rid of tablet's not the end of the world, to be honest. And the switch card having like some pivotability later in the game to not get boss stalled is actually important. So I think actually vacuum away the tablet's correct here. I would go vacuum tablet, play judge. Vacuum tablet, get rid of collapse, play judge. No, what is going on? See, but now judge boss stalling from George is like a real threat now. It's real. It's real. Especially when you can combo with Cresselia to actually do damage. So I would just, yeah, like I said, I like keeping the switch card around just as a safety net. Dude, if you get rid of the judge, dude. Oh my god. We just want the draw power here. We just want to see as many cards as possible and just get a clean Psychic Leap. I'm not gonna lie, I hope Wilson gets punished. Please punish. If you Psychic Leap here, you literally just win as Wilson. The game just literally ends. Because, so basically what happens is if Wilson Psychic Leaps, KO's Guardy, pushes up, I don't know, Oricorio, keeps the switch card in hand. Psychic Leap sends up Oricorio, has Mew V on the bench, Mew V Max on the bench. Even if George has Boss KO, bench Mew V Max, even if George has Boss KO, bench Mew V Max with Zacian, then you just go, evolve this to Mew V Max, bench Mew V, Psychic Leap again, and then there's no other 3-prizer in play, and then you just win the game. And next turn with Boss KO, Mew, or Cresselia off the bench. Bench Meloetta. I mean, at this point, you kind of have to bench Meloetta because your hand sucks. So at this point, no, you still don't bench Meloetta here. You just play a tablet, maybe both tablets, and then you draw again with the next Genesect. So yeah, Wilson is just tunnel visioning hard on just not using Psychic Leap. He's not even thinking about Psychic Leap. And drew the Nest Ball! Yeah, this could have been played so... Wilson literally had game here. This could have been played so much cleaner from Wilson. Because you also get to recover the Box of Disaster and make things even more awkward for George later on as well. Yeah, Wilson is just getting Yeah, Wilson's getting punished here big time. Is just gonna go with the path, and at this point, for how the board state is developed, I don't hate path and swing here, to be honest. I would swing with the bench Mew. I would retreat and attack with the benched one, but I think I'm actually not sure. I think I would retreat and attack. Actually, to be honest, I think I would have maybe used the I would use Sparkle here actually. I want to find a Sparkle here and set up this Meloetta as a threat. So I would have, before I played the path, I would have gone Sparkle or crammed, get Sparkle, play Sparkle. Once I'm at this point, he already retreated. Oh, he did already retreat. Yeah, you're right. Sparkle, build up energy in play, and threaten the Meloetta quad energy boss KO on Guardy. I think I would have done that. But even then, building up energy on the Meloetta means you can Psychic Leap with the Mew VMAX. Building up energy in play is still important, because then Wilson can go, like, if this gets KO'd next turn, bench a Mew V, Psychic Leap this Mew VMAX out of play, have energy built up on the Meloetta plus a Mew V in play, so you have 2 threats, so you can still close out the game on the following turn. But yeah, now it has to be a Max Miracle KO the active. Or I guess you could, no, you can actually use Oricorio to KO. You should use Oricorio 4 active, 1 of the Mew VMAX, or you can't retreat, you already retreated. Yeah, so yeah, you should use Oricorio here and actually go 4 active. Ooh, do we ever put a... Does putting a damage on the Mew ever matter? Can we get... I mean, it would allow us to, like, reach for a knockout we might otherwise not be able to take. Well, we can already do that with Oricorio, though. But you could put one here, so that way if they attack with Cresselia to heal, it still has 1 there, and you can still use Oricorio to KO. So I think the correct play would actually be copy Oricorio, 4 active, 1 Mew. It does 5, right? I'm pretty sure it does 5, yeah. Super Rod. Ralts is getting recovered here. Oh, maybe George had 2 Super Rod in hand, and that's why George kept a Super Rod. But if Wilson had judged, who knows if George even finds another Ralts for the rest of the game. Like, it's possible this just doesn't happen. Because you have to find one of the Super Rods first, with one already discarded, and they have to find a way to get it as well. Here comes Mew again. Looking for... We need a way to find a Ralts. Vacuum is pretty... Actually, Vacuum's a pretty big deal as well. We get to get rid of the Path to the Peak. And then George can at least... Does Cresselia get the KO on the active here? You probably don't want to attack with Guard EX. I think there's still triple tablets around for Wilson. We'll see. There's also... Oh, there's Luminion in hand, so we can make Luminion cook. Get rid of that. So yeah, the win condition here for George, I think, is knockout active. Knockout active with Cresselia. Well, how much damage is on there? That's a lot. Yeah, we can knock out the active with Cresselia. We could use Guardy EX. Using Guardy EX wouldn't be terrible either, but it's probably not correct. So knockout with Cresselia. Yeah, knock out the active with Cresselia. And then go Zacian, Boss KO, Mew VMAX. So on this next turn from Wilson... How do we play this next turn from Wilson? Actually, I'm not sure. Because Wilson only has 1... The problem is Wilson only has 1 boss left. That's actually a big problem here. Because if Wilson had multiple boss left, Wilson could go, like, attach Fusion Energy to Meloetta, bench Mew V, boss, Psychic Leap, KO the Mew, and then have the threat to KO this Luminion next turn. And there's no way this Luminion ever leaves play because the collapse is already gone from George. So then Wilson would be able to go boss again with Meloetta or Mew into a Mew VMAX, KO the Meloetta. But now it's, like, really awkward for Wilson, where it's like... You can't... Psychic Leaping here is not... You can't Psychic Leap and then win on the next turn, basically. Because if you have boss up the Mew to Psychic Leap. There we go. Knockout on the Mew. Deals the damage. Gets the Ralts off the prize card. Does not have another Ralts in play. But there is 1 boss left for Wilson here. So Wilson can just go... To be honest, Wilson can just go, like... Melodious Echo, knock out this. Knock out the Cresselia. Actually, no. If you can get a Sparkle here from Wilson, you could knock out with... Meloetta and then boss KO. That's what Wilson should look for here. Is Meloetta KO the Cresselia. Because I think there is the 4th fusion energies in the deck here. So I wouldn't have played Iono here as Wilson. I would have just tried to get the knockout with Meloetta on the active. And then... Oh, but the 4th Sealstone is active here. That is kind of scary. Maybe Iono try and find Vacuum. Vacuum the 4th Sealstone's better, to be honest. I don't hate that either. And then go... Mew, Melodious Echo, knockout into boss KO Melo to win. Okay, I don't hate that either, to be honest. But you can't boss. The problem here is you can't boss. So that make things... Oh, but you know what? If Wilson had put that 1 damage counter on the Mew and used Oricorio, this turn Wilson could go boss KO Luminion And then there's 1 damage on the Mew. So then even if George pushes Guardy EX to stall, George still, or Alex wins with Oricorio, 5 damage counters on the Mew. Well, you would need a switch card in that scenario. Well, you would need a tablet here. Doesn't George win with Zation? I don't know how many seconds are in the discard pile, so I don't know how important that. Also, I don't know if George has access to the Zation either. So there's like 2 things that George needs. And if the Forest Sealstone is the access to the Zation potentially, then Boss KO Luminion is pretty good here. But now it's like, does Wilson have a vacuum left, and can Wilson find the vacuum? But also, if Wilson had gone Meloetta KO the active, the Forest Sealstone can only get 1 card. So then George would need Zation in hand or Boss in hand, and then the Force Sealstone finds the other one. I guess Mew's around though as well, though. Mew helps with that as well. That makes it tough, actually. Vacuum here is like the best card for Wilson, I think. Because Psychic Leap's just not possible for a knockout. Because I think Wilson only has 2 tablets left. I'm actually not sure. All right, there we go. Echo knockout. I don't know how many seconds are in the discard pile, but what do you need? 9? There's only 19 minutes left as well, so it'll be hard to have enough time for game 3. I don't think George is ever winning. I don't think George is ever 2-0. It just comes down to if Wilson can win a game. 2 energy in hand. So actually, if there's an Ultra Ball here from George, George does probably just win. Because with the 2 energy in hand, that should be enough. Yeah, looking at it, I feel like Boss KO on the Luminium was probably better. Also, another play that would have been available to Wilson if Wilson had put this Fusion Energy on the Oricorio and then used Mew to copy Oricorio to KO the Guardy plus 10 damage on the Mew and put 10 more damage on the Mew, even if the Cresselia play happens, then Wilson could have retreated to Oricorio this turn, played Iono, and then George would need Boss and Zation, and then the Oricorio could KO the Mew itself. So that's why like building up the Genesect is like interesting in this matchup, but it's so much harder to get 3 energy than 2 energy. This Fusion Energy from Wilson is just trolling here on this Mew. Definitely just trolling. All right, here comes Mew. He had the Boss KO, but he loses after. No, because if he had done the Oricorio play correctly, like he should have, then he could close out the game with Oricorio KO Mew. How on earth did Wilson find a way to lose this game? I mean, there's a lot of mistakes from Wilson. I think there were definitely some mistakes from George as well. Does George not have game here? It's a Ralts. So George needs Ultra Ball to get the energy in the hand into the discard pile plus find the Zation. I wonder what the heck George is going to do here. Wait, there it is. Maybe George does have game. Can't see. I think that is 7. I mean, George just checked the deck, so I would hope if there's an Ultra Ball in there, you know it's in there. Okay, there's no Ultra Ball. So George can't win this turn. Oh, but the research works. The research still works here. Discard all the energy, and they have to draw into the Zation itself. So it's like a 50-50 here. Maybe a little bit less than a 50-50. There's like more than 14 cards in that deck, actually, I think. Maybe about 14. Yeah, it looks like more than 14. My guess is more than 14. Can we get a deck counter real fast? How many cards are in that deck? But there's no Ultra Ball left. Oh, this is why they have the zoom up. Oh, the whiff! So Wilson does have a chance to win on this next turn. Wilson does have a Boss left in the deck. There's a Ralts getting played. And we should see the level ball in the hand get played here from George as well, I think. Oh, okay. The memory skip? Okay, I like this. Wait, does that actually matter? George, Alex always wants to attack with Meloetta anyways. Yeah, the memory skip actually just doesn't make a difference here. I actually think it's probably better to preserve the Ralts. Because now if Wilson like goes, I don't know, Judge, KO Ralts, or KO Ralts, they have 1 less out to Kirlia to draw cards. But you do preserve the Mew that can find a level ball to find a Kirlia. I'm not going to overthink it. Let's say the Ralts play is cool. So we need a Boss here from Wilson. The Boss is on the bottom of the deck, though. So Wilson needs like a way to shuffle the deck. That's also another reason that keeping around Ultra Balls is such a big deal. Does Wilson have no Boss left? No, Wilson has 1 Boss left. It's on the bottom of the deck, though. And there's no way in Wilson's hands to shuffle the deck. But we can go Fusion to Meloetta, play the tablet, draw 2. But the thing is, like, Wilson like burned a lot of Ultra. There's like no, I don't think there's a way for Wilson to shuffle the deck here. I actually wonder if there's like Nest Balls left. If Wilson, okay, another tablet, 1 more tablet, draw 1. The only way I can think of is maybe if there's a Cram. You have to go Cram, Battle VIP Pass, Heads. Here we go. Genesect 2 for 1. Nest Ball. Yeah, the hand is just clogged at this point. The hand is like super clogged. Does memory skip go away if you go back to the bench? Yeah, it does. So retreat to Meloetta, swing, but then George, actually, yeah, I just don't know about setting up the Ralts over like sacrificing the Mew, to be honest. I'm not going to overthink it. One of them is correct. This seems okay. I don't know. Here we go. Knockout Ralts. So George needs Zation. The Zation is, we don't have the Zation yet. from George. We have the boss. So here's level ball. Gonna thin out the mana fee. Thankfully, George checked. And there's another one. I think George is about to just like play the level ball, shuffle the deck. That's what it looked like. All right, there's also a Fog Crystal in the deck, so we should see the Mew get used before we use... Actually, did the Mew just get used? I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest. Have we used Mew yet? Bro, this is definitely where you ask for a judge shuffle, bro. You do not want to be the responsible for the outcome of your fate here. Okay, Mew is just being used now. Okay, yeah. So now we get the Fog Crystal. Fog Crystal thins out the energy. So -2. So there's 3 cards left in deck. Oh, no, wait. The Fog Crystal gets the Zation. Oops. I forgot about that. Wait. No. George didn't have game previously. Wait, did George have game previously? No. I literally forgot that Fog Crystal could get Zation. I was like, I thought it had to be a raw draw. But that's just not true. We do have it with this play here. For some reason, then I thought George had game last turn. Okay, it was even like less likely that George would have whiffed on the previous turn. Boss, Mew Max. And we got 12 minutes left, which I don't think is going to be enough time for the game 10 unless Wilson gets a donk. But we can just quickly skip ahead through this one because I know the results. 1 minute left. Wilson's drawn a prize card, but it's a little too late. But this is definitely one of those games where you can look at it and look back on it and be like, literally, Wilson basically, if Wilson had played optimally, Wilson just wins like 100% of the time. Yeah, if Wilson had played optimally, Wilson wins 110% of the time. Like, Wilson was in full control of that game with how each player kind of drew and what players had access turn to turn. If Wilson had just played better, Wilson wins like 100% of the time there. So, all right. Let's get into it. So this is Lugia versus Kyogre. Lost box. The Halucha start here is pretty bad for Andrew. It's really... The Halucha start is really, really bad because it's not even something you're going to attack with later on. Like, it's almost like something you want Andrew to KO at this point. But yeah, the Halucha start is like literally maybe the worst starter you can have because it's never going to die. It's just going to sit on your board and clog up your bench. So yeah, it's about as bad as it gets here for Estrada. On Hedrick's side... What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I definitely think Lugia is favored in this matchup. I definitely favor Lugia in this matchup overall. I think it's like a solidly favored for Lugia, like 60-40 kind of matchup. It's just really hard for the Kyogre deck to like keep up with getting enough damage in play to actually do a Kyogre closeout play if the Lugia player draws decently. And then the milling of the T-Tar is also just really annoying to keep. Like the T-Tar just milling your deck, potentially getting rid of important resources, taking a knockout turn after turn after turn. It's just really hard for the Kyogre deck to keep up with. So it's a pretty tough matchup. I think every time I have beaten, maybe not every time, almost every time I have beaten Lugia with Lost Box, my opponent has misplayed. Like I've noticed the misplay and be like, well, now I can win. So I've beaten a lot of Lugias with a lot of Lost Boxes, but almost every time when the game happens, it's like I only won because they misplayed. And like in my testing of this, like, you know, actually try hard testing this matchup, it definitely feels solid for the Lugia. For sure. We'll see if Estrada can get this Halucha out of the active. It looks like we have a pretty good start here with the VIP pass. Seen him eyeing up the... Also has Colress and... does have Colress. Actually, you could go for like a turn 1... We could try and go for a turn 1 attack here as Estrada. It's really hard to get a turn 1 attack when you open the Halucha. So actually, Estrada could have put Mezagoza in play or benched Luminion or played Ultra Ball. So there's a couple things Hedrick could have done. My general rule of thumb for this though is if the Lost Box player does not open Comfy, I play as if they're not going to get the turn 1 Mirage Gate. If they open Comfy and they are playing a more aggressive build, Estrada's build isn't as aggressive, and I don't know how much information Hedrick has on Estrada's build at this point, but Estrada plays like, what, 2 Vacuums, but only like 1 Forest Seal Stone. It's still pretty aggressive, right? It's still a pretty aggressive build, but not as aggressive as it could be. So with the Halucha start, plus maybe Hedrick knows how aggressive of a build Estrada's playing. If I was Hedrick, I probably wouldn't play as if a turn 1 attack is coming either. It is possible, but just because something is possible doesn't mean you should play as if it's going to happen. The difference between opening Comfy and not opening Comfy when trying to pull off a turn 1 attack is like it's just a massive difference. It's just a huge difference. Actually, I'm going to pull up Estrada's list just to confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's 1 Forest Seal Stone, 2 Vacuums. I'm going to check. Yeah, 1 Force Shield on 2 Vacuum, so I wouldn't be like too scared of it. Without the Comfy start here from Estrada, I wouldn't be too scared as Hedrick. And also, Hedrick doesn't want to putting Luminion in play in this matchup is really bad. Double Lugia is like fine, but even you don't even want to do that. You just want like 1 Lugia, 1 T-Tar, and start swinging with T-Tar, and then put the rest of the Pokemon you end up putting in play is based on what Estrada actually attacks with. I actually wonder if that start was curious from Estrada. I wonder if we should have seen Estrada use Colress before using Battle VIP Pass, because there's a lot of Estrada needs like a lot of basics here to get cooking. Like So you almost want to play the Colress first to potentially draw into the Greninja or the Comfey, so then you can battle VIP pass for the other Pokemon that you need. But otherwise, then you're just limited to how many Pokemon you potentially have on this turn. So I think I would have liked to have seen Estrada play the Colress before playing the Battle VIP pass, to be honest. It looks like it's not going to hurt too much, though. We see the Nest Ball and a Dragonite grab here. And you do need the Dragonite in this matchup as well, so you have to prioritize it. But pretty much all the time, if you need a lot of Pokemon, you like to see the Colress happen before you play the Battle VIP pass. Because you want to hit Pokemon off Colress usually, and then you want to hit Pokemon off of... then you also want to hit Pokemon, or then you get the other Pokemon off the Battle VIP pass. But if Estrada's like going really aggressive for the turn 1 attack and is like, I want the Colress to see me another Battle VIP pass, 4 Seal Stone, a Vacuum, then it makes sense to play Colress after the Battle VIP pass. If you're like that focused on the turn 1 attack and you think that's what you really want to heavily play for, then it makes sense to play the... But then we see this play from here from Estrada. It's like Estrada has the Nest Ball in hand and is going to use the Comfey. Maybe draw with... Colress with Greninja. Did he not maybe draw Colress with Greninja? No, the Colress is in the opening hand. I'm almost positive. We can see. I don't know why I ever go back and do these, though. I'm always right. Am I wrong? No, the Colress is right there. Why do I ever question myself, bro? I'm just always right. Why do I question myself? See, but then Estrada plays it differently. This is why this I don't like. Now Estrada plays it differently here, though, right? So we see Estrada playing it one way where it's like, okay, I'm favoring other cards over basic Pokemon, so I'm going to use Battle VIP Pass before Colress. But then Estrada switches it up here, which means Estrada misplay. One of these is a mistake from Estrada for sure, based on what Estrada's trying to do. Because then Estrada gets this Nest Ball, but doesn't play the Nest Ball before using Comfey. So is Estrada valuing basic Pokemon or valuing aggressive draw? But maybe at this point, now that you use your Colress and you don't have as many options as you thought you did, maybe saving the Nest Ball at that point is like what Estrada's thinking. So I guess we're no longer going for the turn 1 attack because the Colress is so bad. So I guess that's like fine here from Estrada maybe. Because yeah, at this point we're probably not going for the turn 1 attack because our hand just is not. We're still close. It's still close. If the Pokestop is really good, then we have it. See, then Estrada does switch it up. But I think at this point Estrada is like conceding the fact that the turn 1 big attack is going to happen and is just going in with a cram punch at this point. So I guess that's fine. Like, Estrada made a judgment call off the Colress. Like, the Colress was not good enough to get a turn 1 attack. So I was like, okay, the turn 1 attack's not that good. So now I just need to find Comfey and Cram and punch with Cram. So I guess that actually is fine the way Estrada plays this out then. Yeah. So now we just go get... I mean, I guess you could have used Pokestop first, but if this Pokestop is just disgusting, and then Cram or then Comfey gets me the 4 Seal Stone, I guess you can still get there, but... Now it just gets to... Oh, actually ends up with double Comfey off this Battle VIP pass. So Estrada's... Oh, no. So is Estrada still going for it now? I think Estrada's still going for it. Estrada is still going for it, it looks like. And once again, I don't think I like the sequence here from Estrada. Then it shouldn't have I feel like Estrada should have just gone with the Nest Ball before using the first Comfey then. And then, because if we're banking on Pokestop no matter what, we should be more heavily banking on the Pokestop, I feel like, then. And have the Pokestop, like, hit us a Battle VIP pass. Obviously, that's not guaranteed to happen, but... Because, like, this is also, like, a really bad bench for Estrada as well, unless you're, like, winning the game this turn, because even if Estrada attacks with Cram from here... You attack with Cram to the Lugia, and then Hedrick goes, okay, double Archeops, theoretically, put down the Serena, heal, knockout. But then every Iono from here on out, Hedrick is like, you only have one attacker in play ever, which is not what you want to have from Estrada. You want to be able to have like multiple attackers set up, and then you attack with one attacker while having an attacker on the back line, so when you get Iono'd, you need less pieces off of the Iono. So now, if Estrada, I'm not going to say Andrew because they're both Andrew, if Estrada just attacks with Cram this turn, then Hedrick can just keep Estrada bench locked or locked into one attacker at all times. So as long as Hedrick actually benches the Serena and doesn't pry Serena, because otherwise Estrada can go use Greninja as an attacker to hit the double Archeops and then go into Sableye after that, because then you could get up 2 benches for attackers, or you could attack with Greninja plus bench another attacker on that same turn. Yeah, Estrada's still cooking. I don't know. I don't think they got the turn 1 attack here though. Yeah, no, it just wasn't happening. This is what I think. I don't know. I guess going for it off the initial course wasn't terrible from Estrada, but I don't like this double Comfey grab. This bench is just so ugly. This bench is so... I don't like the Battle VIP pass for double Comfey there. Once the Colress probably wasn't good enough to get... Once the Colress wasn't good enough to get a turn 1 attack off, which it probably wasn't once you saw the Colress, Or once you use the Colress and Estrada was like, I don't think this is quite good enough. Let me just use Pokestop and let me confirm. And then use the Pokestop, see what Pokestop gives you. And then at that point, make a judgment call on what kind of game you're going to play from that point on and be like, am I going to still go for the turn 1 attack? Is it possible to get a turn 1 attack off these cards? If the answer is no, then you just settle for the Cram attack and you don't bench triple Comfy, because now when you start to get Iono'd, you need that many more pieces every single time to actually set up an attacker. Or you use the Colress, but off the Colress itself, it seemed like it wasn't actually going to be possible for Estrada to get off the turn 1 attack, to be honest. So I would have liked to see Estrada use Colress, make the judgment call of whether or not to keep going, then use Pokestop before the Comfy, and then at that point, you either know you can do it or you know there's a possibility, and based on that, then you just go for the Cram attack, leave a bench space open, because locking yourself with triple Comfy Hawlucha is just such a bad bench. But so this game 1 is already looking really, really bad for Estrada. You basically have to make, like, you want to definitely like try and make Greninja an attacker at this point. So that way you have like a way to like, so you can like bench an attacker, attack with Greninja, and then when you get Iono, you don't just get absolutely crushed. But the Ionos are so much more deadly here, because like now Estrada, like I said, like Estrada can't set up a board state of like attack with Sableye, bench Sableye, and then like have the second Sableye to go into after that or anything like that. So all right, we'll see what Hedrick goes for here. Mezagoza has a Luminion in hand as well. There's the heads. So I assume Luminion is gonna lead to. Yeah, I'm curious what Hedrick is gonna prioritize here. Could get the Serena already. Has an Ultra Ball in hand. So there's a couple things you can do here as Hedrick. You can start attacking with T-Tar right now, which is milling cards is just good in this matchup, and just being aggressive with T-Tar, attacking with T-Tar as much as you can is good. How much does Hedrick value healing, starting to heal this damage with Serena? But we're going to see Luminion for Burnett probably. Or I guess Hedrick could grab an Archeops here, Ultra Ball for another Archeops, Luminion for Research instead, to be honest. But you don't guarantee the V-Star. So it's probably best to just go with... Yeah, you just need a pick if you're going to attack with the Lugia. What is this? I guess the question is, like, what is the Mezagoza grab? Or you could keep the Ultra Ball, I guess, and just, like, attack with Lugia and, like, force the Raikou out of Estrada as well. Maybe that's what you want to do, is, like, force the Raikou or the Dragonite out of Estrada. You could do that as well and just hold the Ultra Ball and not get anything and just hold onto it to get anything else next turn. Just put a gift on the Lugia this turn. Just kind of, like, know your Lugia is going to get knocked out, but then you get to draw cards off your gift. I don't know, though. Yeah, we could have seen the Research play here from Hedrick, just to give yourself more options going forward. But it was the Lugia grab there, and then here comes the Burnett. So I'm curious to see if Hedrick even uses the Ultra Ball this turn. Like I said, could get Serena to heal the damage off the active Lugia. That's not really that important. Getting the Lugia in play or getting the Serena in play at some point is probably something you're going to want to do. So you stop the, like, Estrada probably wants to go for the Greninja play on the Archeops at some point, and that's definitely when you're going to want the Serena as a response. There we go. Yeah, we're using the. I'm curious if we're using the Ultra Ball this turn, and if we are. Well, holding on to the Single Strike Energy makes me think we're going to go with T-Tar here from Hedrick. We'll see, though. Yeah, do you want to even leave the Lugia in the active? Probably not really. You could just go into the T-Tar and mill and KO the Cram. Here we go. Here comes the first one, though. So it looks like we are attacking with the... Looks like we are attacking with Lugia here. You appreciate the 7-month or 2-month resub there, Dragons. Yeah, so we're going with the Lugia attack here. So Hedrick will give this up to the Raikou or the Dragonite. I actually think Dragonite's probably a better attacker in this situation from Estrada, because if you go with the Raikou can get responded to by a... If you go with the Raikou, can get responded to by a Stonejourner, which is like a terrible thing to then try and KO. But if you force another V Pokemon into play, that leads to... If you force another V Pokemon in play from Estrada, then your Kyogre becomes a bigger threat. So I feel like Estrada here should go with the Dragonite KO as opposed to the Raikou KO. Because, like, Raikou just forcing a Stonejourner to play. Like, Stonejourner is just, like, super annoying. Stonejourner and Yveltal are actually, like, super annoying to KO because they have 130 HP. So Sableye doesn't KO it. Cram doesn't KO it. You have to KO with a 2-prizer, but hitting with a 2-prizer into a 1-prizer is never a good prize trade. So I feel like we want to see the Dragonite here from Estrada to get this Lugia out of play, force a T-Tar into play, and then try and find one more prize card from there on an Archeops into the Kyogre for 3 after that. But that's also awkward for Estrada as well, because like you ideally want a Kyogre for 4, but it's hard to set up the Kyogre for 4 sometimes. But Estrada does play the Echoing Horn, so it is possible to force that Lugia V that's going to go to the discard pile back into play. There's an escape rope happening first, though. I feel like you send up the Archeops with the energy, though. It depends how much you value the energy, I guess, overall. I'm not sure I guess like I don't love setting up this Archeops here, because now you're going to have to retreat it. Unless you're assuming Estrada's KOing this Archeops. But I would assume that Estrada's not KOing this Archeops this turn. I don't think Estrada's going like... Actually, though, what if Estrada went... Actually, Estrada could go Dragonite KO this Archeops now. That sounds kind of good. Because would Hedrick even be able to get enough energy on a T-Tar to respond to the Dragonite at that point? I don't even know if they would. So to be honest, a Shada going Dragonite KO Archeops is kind of cool here. But sending up either Archeops opens that play up to a Shada. But do you ever want to send up Luminion? You probably don't want to send up Luminion either. Could you get enough energy on T-Tar, actually? Actually, if Hedrick has a third double turbo in the deck, you could go attach Single Strike, bench T-Tar. Yeah, never mind. You would still be able to get the T-Tar response to the Dragonite. It is still possible. Wait. Yeah, you would still be able to. As long as Hedrick actually plays 3 double turbos. I'm going to check. I don't think there was one prized, so. I'm pretty sure Hedrick also does play the 3 double turbo. I guess it's not too big of a threat if the Dragonite play happened. Yeah, okay, there is. I guess Ashada could make the call that there's a double turbo prized, or Hedrick only plays 2 double turbo. Most people play the 3 though, I feel like, though, so we'll see. Super Rod. I don't know if we're quite at 7 yet here or not. Or I can just look at that. We are at 7. So I think we are going to see the Greninja play here from Estrada. Like I said, it feels like you definitely want to make Greninja an attacker at some point. A play that Estrada can actually go for here as well is Estrada can Greninja twice. You can go Greninja to double Archeops, and then next turn, Greninja double Archeops again, and remove the Archeops completely from play. And that wouldn't be a terrible play here from Estrada. But that is a hard play to pull off. It is hard to, like, recover the Greninja, like, use the Greninja one time, recover it, and I think we're going to be burning double Mirage Gate here as well from Estrada. So there's 2 Mirage Gates down already. We've got 2 Mirage Gates down. So this is sort of like a tough thing to make a comeback from. Yeah, 2 gates down. And then you need another gate next turn. Recover the Greninja, another gate, plus an attachment. Like, you just need a lot. And especially if, like, Hedrick Ionos you this next turn. Well, you're going to Ion to 6, it wouldn't be that bad. Commits another energy to the active, just have the pivot set up for the Comfy. The Lightning going to the discard pile is probably correct. And here we go, 90-90. Where's it going to be, though? I assume the Archeops, but maybe not. Oh, goes after the Luminion and the Lugia, actually. Okay, so just going after the 2 prize Pokemon. I guess maybe this does make more sense, because then Estrada can follow up with Sableye KO Luminion, Sableye KO Lugia, and then Kyogre closes out the game from there. Is it ever possible for Hedrick to just not bench any more Pokemon, though, and then the Kyogre has no targets? But I guess you do have the Echoing Horn as Estrada. So actually, no, I kind of like this a little bit better, actually. This makes more sense. The Serena is probably going to come into play here from Hedrick this turn, and it will start to clean up some of this damage. The real fear here from Estrada is whether or not Hedrick can find the Collapse Stadium. That's what you're really scared of here. Because Collapse Stadium, getting rid of either, like, I guess, like, theoretically the Lugia. Getting rid of the Lugia is, like, a really bad for Estrada. Hedrick could even go as far as, this turn could go as far as using another Luminion, I guess. You could grab the Serena off this, because I think it was a Tails. Bench Serena, Ultra Ball for Luminion. Oh, no, it was a Heads. Ultra Ball for Luminion, played Luminion. Luminion grabs, I don't know, Research. I don't know how many cards are in Estrada's hands. So I don't know if you want to Iono or not. I think it's like 4 or 5. I think that is what we're going to see from Hedrick here. And then Hedrick is digging for that Collapse Stadium to get rid of the Lugia or the Luminion. And then you probably also want to get the Serena as well to start healing something here. Because also, like, you want to put the pressure on Estrada to have the Sableye next turn. Because then if Estrada doesn't have Sableye next turn, then you start to heal up that much more with the Serena. So you want to put the pressure on Estrada as soon as possible to be like, okay, now you have to have Sableye, otherwise I'm just going to get rid of all this damage in play. It did just go Ultra Ball for Serena. So it's not getting the other Luminion. No draw supporter. I honestly don't think Hedrick has anything in hand to work with. So Hedrick has no options in hand. So this is actually looking pretty good. I think Hedrick literally has nothing. So I feel like this is looking pretty good for Estrada, because we got, what, 180 here, 100 here, 20 here, heal 20, knock out this, and then Kyogre, draw 2 more prize cards off the bench, win the game. Or Estrada could go Sableye, knockout, 50 here, Sableye again, knock out this, the rest here, escape up this to the bench, Kyogre for 3. So it depends if you want to give Hedrick, you want to draw the extra prize card or not, or if you'd want to, like, lessen the blow of Iono potentially. Yeah, appreciate the 17 months there, Johnny. But I'm pretty sure Hedrick has no cards in hand here. So like I said, I didn't hate the idea of Hedrick going for second Luminion, putting that in play and drawing cards, trying to find the Collapse eventually. I don't know, the Sableyes are getting pretty scary here, because I'm pretty sure Hedrick's hand is dead. So if Hedrick doesn't find anything anytime soon, then Estrada can just pick apart his board with Sableye. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I guess maybe even KO and Luminion. KO and the Lugia is probably better than Luminion here as well, right? Yeah, KOing the Lugia is better than KOing the minion here as well, because then you remove the attacker. So now Hedrick also has to come up with an attacker this turn. I guess you could just attack with an Archeops, but if you don't set up a threat in play and attack with Archeops, then Estrada could just go, okay, Dragonite KO Archeops, and now you don't have anything set up to actually respond to my Dragonite. So Hedrick definitely wants to attack with a T-Tar here and start milling the deck, putting the pressure with the mill, but that's a heads. Is Hedrick going to have to attack with Archeops here? Like I said, I'm pretty sure Hedrick's hand was dead. If not working on Sableye is BS. Why is that BS? That's the game working as intended. Coulda, shoulda been cragging from turn 2 spamming it. That's how I feel as well, Grant. I feel like this game is easy when you're just spamming crag. Like you force out the Dragonite from them to actually be able to ever get through it or anything like that, and it just gets really bad. So it is the attack with the Archeops and benches the Stone Journer, but doesn't set up an energy on the Stone Journer is interesting. How good is attacking with Dragonite here for Estrada? There's a double turbo left. So if Estrada goes Dragonite, attack, knockout Archeops, Hedrick can go send up Archeops with Jet, bench T-Tar, attach to T-Tar, Archeops finds single strike plus double turbo, knockout. Then Estrada could go Dragonite again. Like if Estrada could go back-to-back Dragonites, then Estrada could win with back-to-back Dragonites here, actually. I don't think Hedrick can. Well, the Iona would be the way to disrupt the back-to-back Dragonites. So I think Estrada here is probably just going to go for Sableye, KO Lumineon, and then try and Kyogre on the following turn to win the game. But that does leave. Then the play from Hedrick is just going to be, okay, Iona and start milling. Iona and start milling is going to be the play from Hedrick. But if Estrada knows... No, you can't really KO the active because it has the gift now. Because once the gift triggers, your Hedrick will probably draw into a T-Tar. So you probably don't want to do that. And even if Hedrick drew into like the energies that you would need to get on the T-Tar, there's a good chance that Hedrick would also have access to an Iono, and then the Iono would lead to... There's a Sableye in the energy. You probably want to get Greninja back into play as well for draw power. But Estrada might be heavily playing towards... Yeah, a little bit more heavily playing towards getting the Sableye set up. There was the water in hand. I was thinking maybe getting a water back for the Kyogre as well. I don't know. Getting Greninja back there seems pretty good. But I'm not sure what Estrada's hand is. Depending on what you can actually access from your deck, the Greninja might not be worth putting back into play. But the Greninja's still pretty good here. I kind of would like to have seen the Greninja happen. I don't know. There's a Sableye in the energy, though, and the Echoing Horn. So Estrada could go for like a bench lock. Ooh, wait, did I really? No. Estrada could go for like a bench lock play here where you put the Lugia on the bench and then you attack with Sableye. I don't think it ever leads to anything though. You probably just want to KO the Luminion. Once again, use the switch card instead of energy. For anyone wondering why Estrada's not retreating this energy off of Comfey and not going like send up this Comfey, use this Comfey, switch card into this Comfey, retreat this Comfey, is because you want to keep a pivot around. Estrada's like actively playing around Iono here by keeping an extra pivot around. So that way, if Hedrick plays Iono next turn, Estrada can have already a Pokemon with effective free retreat in play, so more to work with after getting Iono'd. You always want to be as set up as possible. That's why I was saying like Estrada's board sucks because it was like triple Comfey Hawlucha, and it's like that's not giving you very much to work with on your board if you get Iono'd. Now a bench space has been opened up because Greninja got KO'd, but now you don't have Greninja in play to work with if you get Iono'd. So yeah, Estrada's board is not very good at recovering from getting Iono'd at this late in the game. I'm curious to see where Estrada actually puts this damage here. Could you ever do something? I guess you can't. You have to KO Luminion, right? Yeah. Luminion has to get KO'd. 20 onto the Archeops. The 20 on the Archeops doesn't matter because it'll just get healed from Serena, and there it is. The hand for Hedrick. There is the research. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, also another thing with like going the T-Tar route as Hedrick is you're aggressively milling your opponent, which means your opponent has to like play with the threat of just losing the game to getting milled. So they have to more aggressively answer the T-Tar. If you more aggressively answer the T-Tar of Hedrick, then you draw prize cards faster. If you draw prize cards faster, then the Ionos hit harder sooner. So it's like another reason that like attacking with T-Tar in this matchup is so good. There's a Collapse Stadium for Hedrick, but it's not going to matter. But did find the T-Tar. The T-Tar should be is what Hedrick needs here. But Hedrick didn't have an Iono this turn. So if Hedrick... if the composition of Estrada's deck is good enough, Estrada can just win next turn with Kyogre. I heard about this game. I think this is the game where Hedrick hits the second energy recycler of Estrada and wins the game because of the mill here. I guess we'll find out here in just a second with the Cragalanche, but I'm pretty sure this is that game. We'll see. There actually is a collapsed... Does he ever use that collapsed stadium? I don't think so. Do you ever collapse here to bench lock Estrada? What are you bench locking Estrada out of if you put collapse in play here? You also stop Echoing Horn, I guess, as well. But then you lock yourself out of Luminion. Don't spoil it. Oh, my bad. I guess I assumed everyone else knew, but I guess I was maybe the only one who knew. My bad, my bad. All right, and there's a concede from Estrada. So there it is. Yeah, the recycler mill and this game. Spoilers, bro. Sorry, I was just thinking I should have waited. I should have waited. It's not lucky. Very true. It's not lucky. Hedrick just had the fortunate side of the variance in this situation. That's it. Yeah, a double. Honestly, I don't know if Estrada, it was possible for Estrada because Estrada was down so many Mirage Gates at this point. So it might not have been possible. Back to back, I'm pretty sure back to back Dragonites would have actually won Estrada that game at that point of like a turn ago. Like back to back, Dragonites would have won the game. I don't know if Estrada could have pulled that off, but I'm pretty sure it just wins Estrada the game. All right. Prize cards for game 2. Raikou being prized sucks. It's kind of your aggressive, like it sometimes makes a difference to have 3 energy or 2 energy as the attacker. So Raikou being prized sucks, but actually I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure Estrada plays heavy ball. I'm just gonna check that real fast. Let me see. I would bet on there being a heavy ball in here. There's a heavy ball, so it is findable. 2 battle VIP pass might make the start a little bit tough. 2 Archeops being prized for Hedrick is also kind of not like a huge deal, but it depends how Hedrick gets the Archeops into the lost zone. The Collapse Stadium being prized, that's a very important card in this matchup. Just having Archeops in your deck in general to make it easier to get them to the discard pile is also a big deal. So the prize cards are like, I don't know, I'd probably call them below average for both players. Double Battle VIP Pass and the Raikou prize. There's already the heavy ball to find the Raikou, so double VIP Pass might make the start a little bit slower here for Estrada. And of course, Estrada choosing to go first because they did lose game 1. The Luminion start is terrible for Hedrick. And this, like, the Luminion start opens up a interesting situation for Estrada, where Estrada can just like be super aggressive and just be like, if the Luminion sticks in the active for a turn, then Estrada can be like, okay, Raikou knock out Luminion and just go into a really really aggressive, just like 2-prizer for 2-prizer trade off. Which honestly in this matchup I don't mind doing because yeah, the matchup stuff, I don't know, the matchup stuff. Okay, so it has a battle VIP pass as well, so the double battle VIP pass to be in the prize cards doesn't seem to be hurting them here. 1 is enough. You can't get greedy and ask for 2. We could see Estrada even go as far as like attaching to the Raikou turn 1 here. So that way you don't even need to get to 7 in the lost zone, and you also don't even need a Mirage Gate. You just like attach again and then attack. So we could see Estrada go that far as well. But it looks like it has to be the attach retreat. Both would like to swap their hand with their prizes. Yeah, in that situation, yeah, both people would like to swap their hand with their prizes probably. Both the prize cards are pretty good. Well, I mean, Estrada had a battle VIP pass and the heavy ball in hand, so I don't know if it matters too much, to be honest. Switch card here. Was the switch card grabbed off of the Comfy there? There was a Colress there, I think I saw. Gives up the vacuum, but I think it was a trade for a Colress. So that's a pretty good trade. You appreciate the Prime sub there. Dizzy Gear. Welcome to the Rat Pack. We're all out of automobiles. We got plenty of garlic. Hand is not bad here, though, for Hedrick. Has an out to a Lugia V, has a T-Tar that can be benched, and then has a Aroma as well. And if you got Tails on Aroma here, I guess you just go ahead and grab. If you get Heads, honestly, that kind of sucks. You don't want to take any of the things you'd get off Heads. But if you get Tails, you could probably just grab. If you get Tails, you could probably just grab Serena and put that in play. I don't know. I don't think rushing Serena in play in this matchup really matters too much. I think it's probably fine to just rush your Serena into play. I don't think you're ever getting punished for putting Serena in play too early in this matchup. I could be wrong on that, but my instincts are telling me that you don't get punished for rushing Serena into play. I'm curious to see if Hedrick leaves the Luminion in the active or retreats it, because Hedrick could do either here. Like I said, honestly, like giving up the Luminion here doesn't seem terrible, because like once again, your Ion will start to hit harder faster, which isn't a bad thing, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see if Hedrick like retreats it to the T-Tar, but you don't really want to run to T-Tar unless the T-Tar has a V-Guard either. Because then the T-Tar could just get one-hit KO'd by... The T-Tar could just get one-hit KO'd by a Dragonite at that point. So... You could also not attach any energy, because then if you... Yeah, so we're going to give up the Luminion here from Hedrick. Estrada could have benched the Raikou there, but if the, like... If Luminion got retreated into, like, a Stone Journey or something, that wouldn't feel great to have a Raikou just chilling on your board at that point. So I think it's probably correct for Estrada to have not benched the Raikou. Even though with how this game developed, it would have been pretty good to have him play. But Hedrick might have played it differently had there been a Raikou on the bench. So you appreciate the 7 months there, Ausser. Appreciate it. There's the Mezagoza use as well. So this game, unlike last game, Hedrick is being a little bit more aggressive with the Mezagoza because Hedrick wants to try and get the 2 uses out of the Mezagoza. Whereas like last game, Hedrick had the turn 1 Mezagoza and just chose not to put it in play because he didn't want to give the value of the Mezagoza over to Estrada potentially. There's a Mezagoza use now here for Estrada. So yeah, what if we will, like, we could grab the Raikou right here from Estrada. We'll see. Oh, but it's eyeing up the Dragonite, actually. And ends up with a Cram. I don't hate the Cram here either, to be honest. Cram seems fine. Honestly, I think if Estrada could attack with Greninja here, I'd probably attack with Greninja and just put a bunch of damage in play and then start to clean up that damage with Sableye afterward. Attacking with the Cram can kind of do the same thing, though. You can Cram the Lumineon this turn and then Sableye it next turn, chain the Sableye off of that, or Cram it this turn and then follow up with a Greninja attack as well. So Cram is pretty solid into the Lumineon here, to be honest. Another situation where like Hedrick is going to be wanting to find Collapse Stadium, but obviously the Collapse is pressed, so that's not possible. 2 Mirage Gate in that hand. I can't tell. I think it's another Sableye in between the Colress and the Mirage Gate there. That might have been another one. I'm not sure. I'll use the Sableye over a Mirage Gate there. I'm not sure about that. In this matchup, Mirage Gates are really good because like attacking with Greninja, you got to attack with Kyogre, you got to attack with Greninja. Maybe you attack with a 2-prizer. There's like a lot of Mirage Gate attacking in this matchup. Then has an Artisan as well. Goes with the Artisan. Giving it to Hedrick shouldn't be too big of a deal. It does give Hedrick the option of Yveltal and Stonejourner. Goes to get another Comfey in play. I still don't like this, I don't think. Why don't I like this? I guess maybe it's fine. You still have 2 attacking spaces open here. If you put Ogre down, Ogre, Sableye. But if you attack with Cram this turn, I guess like Hedrick's probably never bossing around your Cram and probably always camming your Cram, so it should be fine. But this would be an interesting scenario for if Hedrick does have boss, but with what Hedrick has in the discard pile, it's never happening. This is probably fine. I don't know. 3 Comfey in play is it's okay. It's hard to like maximally use 3 Comfeys every single turn. So like that's why the reason why it's like not that important to like kind of stress getting 3 Comfey in play, to be honest. It's hard to like actually functionally use all the Comfeys. Like not just not happening that often. Actually, I think there was a switch cart in Estrada's hand, so we should have seen like attached to the Comfey then switch carted out. I think. I mean, it's not likely you get Iono'd here, but just the way like that Estrada was playing it last game, it's just like better to have the pivot set up in play than not most of the time. All right, here comes the Burnett. Okay, Burnett draws pretty good. Has the Serena in hand as well, so it can start to heal some of that damage off the Lumineon, which you probably might as well do anyways. So we'll probably see Hedrick bench the Serena. And then I think I would just like to see Hedrick just go into milling, as long as it's possible. I guess if there's no energy in the hand here from Hedrick, you might not be able to do it, but there is a gift in hand, though. So Hedrick can start milling with T-Tar here. And like I said, like milling with T-Tar just as soon as possible just seems like the best thing. You got the V-Guard energy on the T-Tar, protecting the T-Tar from getting 1-hit KO by the Dragonite. So you're not getting 1-hit KO by the Dragonite, and then you just like start milling the deck, and then yeah, you get off as many mills as possible. And then it's like not that unlikely to like remove like the Kyogre win condition from the Lost Box player at some point through all the milling you do. So because between like the pressures of Iono disrupting your hand, meaning you don't know what you're going to be drawn into after the Iono and hurting you, like their switch card escape rope, that's pretty good. That's 2 less Comfeys that are going to be used from Estrada now. Of course, you sometimes like the reason the argument I've heard some people make before about why you shouldn't use T-Tar in this matchup is because, well, you help them deck out sooner. But like that is true. But if you actually play the matchup, it definitely benefits you to mill them to reduce their win conditions, as opposed to helping them deck out sooner to use Kyogre sooner, because you're putting the pressure on them to have to draw a bunch of prize cards before the Kyogre can even happen. So, wait, was the V-Guard already there? Yeah, the V-Guard was attached turn 1. So you're putting the pressure on the Kyogre player to get prize cards, then also have to use the Kyogre as well. So like milling is just the way in this matchup. And also if it does force the Lost Box player into like having to use Dragonite aggressively to get through the T-Tar because they don't really feel like they have another better option, then they draw prize cards faster. If they draw prize cards faster, then your Ionos hit harder, and it allows you to draw prize cards faster because now your one attack is giving you 2 prize cards instead of 1 prize card. So yeah, T-Tar is just always the move in this matchup. I wonder how much the Hawlucha can matter in this matchup for endgame math. Probably not too much, but when you're Sableye chaining, it could definitely make a difference, I feel like. Appreciate the tier 1 sub there, GT 1976. Welcome to the pack. We're all out of bread, but we got plenty of lawnmowers. All right, so we do see the Greninja play coming here from Estrada. I mentioned that. You can clean up the Lumineon And I don't know, punch something. You punch something. So one of the things Hedrick's going to be looking out for here is to keep... Hedrick is going to want to keep their bench full of one prizers. So on this next turn from Hedrick, maybe not next turn, you might not have to worry about it immediately, but the Echoing Horn from Estrada. Estrada is going to draw 2 prize cards with Greninja, and theoretically, Estrada can win the game from here by going Kyogre for 4 prize cards. But if you only have 2 V Pokemon in play as Estrada, if you only have 2 V Pokemon in play as Hedrick, no matter how many escape ropes you play, you can just keep sending up the V Pokemon over and over and just loop them. And then there's never 2 V Pokemon on the bench for the Kyogre to draw 4 prize cards on. So it'll force the Kyogre player to have to draw more prize cards than just 2 before they can use the Kyogre play. So you see the Greninja play here. Like I said, probably KO and Lumineon. It would be interesting to see something else happen here from Estrada. And then the other 90, I feel like should probably go on the Serena, and then maybe you just Sableye chain KO Serena into KO Archeops. But goes with the 90 on the Lugia, actually, it looked like. Which does, like... So this does set it up to then go Echoing Horn to Lumineon, and then Kyogre, KO, Lugia, and T-Tar, or Lumineon. But now if Hedrick just benches Yveltal, or if Hedrick benches Yveltal or Stonejourner, then there's not 2 V Pokemon. There's no possibility for 2 V Pokemon on the bench. So I like the damage on the Archeops a little bit better from Estrada, because now Estrada can chain Sableyes, go down to 2 prize cards, and then go for the Kyogre for 2 prize cards, or maybe even like somehow get some kind of... But I wonder if it should be on the Archeops or be on the Serena here and KO the Serena and remove that from play from the healing. I just don't know if the healing actually factors in. I'm not going to do the math off the top of my head right now. So even when I used to play when I was playing so much Kyogre last season, I didn't actually do that math. I did the math in the moment, but I don't remember what the math was. Like if it makes sense to go after the Archeops here or to KO the Serena first and then go after the Archeops. So I'm not going to do the math right now. You removing the Archeops from play does remove the possibility of them like getting the energy in play, obviously. And there's the 4 single strike energy, which means the mill attack will also KO the Greninja now. But also removing the healing could make a difference in the long run as well. But I don't want to do the math, so... Like I said, Hedrick probably just wants to fill up their bench. Hedrick also knows that their Collapse Stadium is prize, so you don't want to like bet to try and get the Collapse Stadium off the prize cards here. But actually goes with the Lumineon. So I wonder if we're going to see the Lumineon be used here from Hedrick instead of benching down a 1 prize Pokemon. There is no draw supporter on the hand here from Hedrick, so maybe Favors trying to go get a Research or an Iono instead. Nope, there's the Sunjourner, like I was saying. Just fill up your bench with 1 prize. Wait, but then why did we grab the Lumineon off the... Am I trolling? I think Hedrick just misplayed here, right? Plays the Capturing Aroma, gets Tails, grabs Lumineon, and then's like, Lumineon's cool, but what if I got heads off Mezagoza and then benched the Stonejourner? But but Hedrick could have just got the could still put Mezagoza in play, but still could have got Stonejourner first. I think Hedrick is making like a realization after already getting Lumineon, because like I think getting the Stonejourner here is more important, especially because Hedrick should know that the Collapse is prized, and knowing the Collapse is prized means you don't want to get Echoing Horned next turn. And you don't know where the Collapsed is, so if it's in the last 2 prize cards, when Hedrick draws a prize card going down to 1 prize card, could be the turn that Estrada wins the game by having Echoing Horn to Lumineon into play. So if Hedrick doesn't get heads there on the Mezagoza and Estrada had actually found Echoing Horn there, that would have been bad, because then Estrada can go Echoing Horn Lumineon, use Sableye this turn, put damage on the Lugia and the T-Tar, and then next turn win with Kyogre. That could have been Estrada's play, but Hedrick, thankfully, Stonejourner makes its way to the bench. No Echoing Horn possibility. So now, once again, there's only 2 V Pokemon in play. Estrada does not play Boss. So even if there's a V Pokemon in the active and Estrada plays an Escape Rope, the T-Tar goes to the bench, the Lugia comes to the active, and then there's not 2 Vs on the bench, which means the Kyogre can't win. The Kyogre can't win the game on 4 prize cards. So now Estrada has to draw more prize cards. So now Estrada's game plan is going to be KO the Archeops this turn. You have to KO the Archeops this turn, and then you have to draw 3 prize cards after that. But yeah, you have to go through at least 1 more prize card here first, which shouldn't be a huge deal to go through, but it means you can't just like tunnel vision. But there's a Dragonite grab from Estrada. I don't know if Estrada's actually going to bench this. Maybe just grabbed it off the Mezagoza. But I think from here, what I'd like to see from Estrada is just Sableye, KO Archeops, put the rest of the damage on Lugia. Next turn, Kyogre for 3. But we'll see what Estrada goes for here. You could punch the active here with Dragonite. I don't hate that. Then Hedrick goes down to 2 prize cards. Then Estrada goes Sableye, KO the T-Tar. This would be down at 5. Sableye, KO T-Tar, KO this, Sableye again, win. Would that actually work? That might actually work. I'm actually not sure. I'm not going to do that. Well, hey, let me do the math real fast. 220 active, heal down 250. Sableye, KO. KO. 3 prize cards, 1 prize card left. But then you can't Sableye again to win, so maybe not. There's no way to Kyogre for 3 by putting damage on Lugia, right? Well, no, you go KO Archeops for... Wait, maybe I trolled the math. You KO the Archeops for 3, 4, 5. Wait. KO the Archeops for 8. And they have 4 left. 4 on Lugia. Heal 2. Oh, no, you're right. So it would have to be an escape rope push Cheetar to the bench. Actually, no, you're right. You're right. Oh! But if... Okay, so the KO in this arena actually matters here then. Now that we've done the math, if Estrada had put this 7 damage counters on the Serena... If you put the 7 damage counters on the Serena... Oh, but it has to be 5... No, it has to be 3 on the Lugia. Yeah. On the Serena, 7 on the Serena, then next turn 7 on Serena, 5 on the Lugia, then all of a sudden the Lugia is in range, and the Lugia and Cheetar are in range from the Kyogre. So the damage on the Serena here was better from Estrada. So that's actually a mistake from Estrada, because then you could have Sableye this turn, KO Serena, damage on Lugia, and then the Kyogre goes KO Cheetar or Lugia plus a 1 prizer to win the game. But because actually the Serena's in play, now if Estrada goes KO Archeops, put the damage on the Lugia, the Serena heals the Lugia out of range, and then you need an escape rope to push the Cheetar to the bench. Whereas before you wouldn't need the escape rope to push the Cheetar on the bench, and no matter what, there would be an effective 250 HP V on the bench no matter what. So yeah, we should have seen Estrada go after the Serena there. But it's also, actually to be honest, Estrada could also just... Another thing Estrada could have done, though, is if Estrada also had gone after Serena as well, then it means that Estrada could have actually just gone into Sableye chain to win this game. Because now Hedrick has filled up their bench with schmucks. So if this 7 was on the Serena, then Estrada could go 7 more. Well, how actually would you get? You have 7 more, 5 left to work with, 5 here. You have 5 on this thing, Sableye this, go down to, what do you need to do? 8 here, 4 here, 11 here, 1 here. No, you'd be off by 1 damage counter at the end of it all. That chain actually wouldn't work. If it kept the Lucha, the chain would work, right? No, we'd still be off by a little bit. So that actually doesn't work. You couldn't Sableye the whole squad. But you could have gone Sableye, KO Serena, put damage here, Greninja again into Sableye, win the game. So what Estrada could have done is, if this 7 was on the Serena, this turn you go Sableye, KO Serena, put some damage somewhere else, then Greninja, 90-90, and then go Sableye, and the game is over. And you always win the prize trade that way. The Kyogre works as well, of course. So the Kyogre is still like a fine route to go down, but... That's another escape rope. How many escape ropes does Estrada have left? You need that escape rope at the end of the game. He also could have put 3 on Lugia and 2 on Cheetar to make them both in D-Knight range. Well, you'd have to do more than that, though, because of the Serena. But you don't want to attack with Dragonite here as... You don't want to attack with Dragonite here as Estrada. Because if you Dragonite and draw 2 prize cards, and you have 2 prize cards left, it means you get Iono to 2. And it's so hard to start recovering from Iono to 2 when you're also getting 2 cards milled off the top of your deck. Like, you have such limited... You're seeing such a limited amount of resources each turn while your resources are getting milled. Yeah, I think there was a couple different routes that Estrada... this 7 damage on the Archeops should just always be on the Serena. It should just never be on the Archeops. It's always a mistake for Estrada to put this damage on the Archeops. It should just always be on the Serena. No matter what route you look for from this point on, getting cragged every turn. Yeah, that's also true, Grant. But it's also hard to get... It's also hard to Kyogre getting cragged every turn. It's just hard. Getting cragged every turn is just annoying. Yeah, no matter what, the damage should have never been on the Archeops. It should have always been on the Serena. It should always be on the Serena, and then from there you try and piece it together. But yeah, getting cragged. Maybe that does increase the value of attacking with Dragonite. If you're attacking with Dragonite, they can't crag you. So there's a little bit of value in actually using Dragonite, but that's why this matchup is just tough. If they don't have the Serena, the matchup gets a lot easier, to be honest, though. Without the Serena, the matchup actually... I don't want to say it's like 50-50. I'd still say you're probably slightly unfavored as Kyogre, but it might be 50-50 if they don't have Serena, to be honest. Not sure. Am I doing Dude this week? No, not this week. And not next week either. Actually, no, I will be doing it next week on Wednesday. Dude returns Wednesday. Why no, Dude? It's not working out for the schedule. We got too much other stuff going on. You're so funny, Soda. Genius. All right, Super Rod coming down from Estrada. I assume we're looking at a Sableye play here from Estrada. We got the 10 in the Lost Zone. KO the Archeops. So should be charging coaching fees for these VOD review streams. So much good info here. I do what I can. You appreciate the prime sub there, cards too. I think I missed that earlier. Welcome to the Rat Pack. We're all out of houses, but we got plenty of salt. All right, Super Rod for 3. Like I said, I assume Sableye's happening this turn. We'll see if Estrada's got something else up his sleeve though. I was thinking about Greninja. Dude, I don't know. Greninja's so good. Not as an attacker, but as like a support Pokemon to have him play. But I guess if you can't find it this turn, there's a chance it just gets milled by Cragalanche anyway. So maybe it's fine for Estrada to kind of just let it go. We'll see. Yeah, we got Barcelona this weekend as well. It's got a lot of odd reviewing going down. Is Estrada cooking? Is Estrada not cooking? What do we got? Think about attaching to... Is it attached to Kyogre Pass? No way. Is that the end of this turn? Is that how the sequence ends? What? What? There's no way that's the end. Do we not attack with Sableye here? What is Estrada trying to... What is Estrada... Maybe there was no way to get a Psychic Energy to attack with Sableye here. That's actually possible. That did not seem real. I'd be like, that's a fake. That's fake. Well, apparently not. No, that is real. That's how that turn ends. All right. I was like, the question is like, what do we Sableye? Not if we Sableye. The question is not if we Sableye. The question is, what do we Sableye? But apparently the question was if we Sableye the whole time. I don't know how we didn't end up Sableyeing at the end of this turn, but it did not happen. It somehow did not happen. So we'll just see another Cragalanche happening here from Hedrick. Could see an Iono to go with it, to be honest. The hand is really, really big from Estrada, so this would be a good time to Iono from Hedrick, if Hedrick can find one. There's the chops for an energy. Yeah, is the Iono here for Hedrick? We'll see. Retreat. Here comes the T-Tar. The heal happened on the Archeops. Ooh, oh, the boss. I guess one question here is how many Super Rod is Estrada down? Because if Estrada's down 3 Super Rod, this is pretty good. Because there's no potential for another Kyogre. Is this better to KO than the Sableye, though, when the Sableye has to happen first and Kyogre happens second? That's another question, right? I mean, Andrew or Estrada does play 2 Sableye, so you could just have another Sableye, of course. Actually, there might be a Sableye in the Lost Zone, to be honest. If there is a Sableye in the Lost Zone, the Sableye has to happen first here from Estrada. So I don't know if I like this play from Hedrick, to be honest. Instead of bossing the Sableye, I feel like putting the pressure on the Sableye more this turn makes a little bit more sense, because there's like time for Estrada to recover the Kyogre, or more time for Estrada to recover the Kyogre. Whereas like the Sableye has to happen next turn, and then you're not worried about the Kyogre until the turn after. So I wouldn't have hated the idea of the boss on the Sableye instead, to be honest. But let's see how the getting. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have hated it, to be honest. I wouldn't have hated it. Ooh, a Mirage Gate and a Coldest. That's pretty good. The mill's coming through. At least one more mill to potentially happen. Yeah, I don't know what the Super Rod count is. Like, if maybe Estrada overextended the Super Rods on the last turn, and maybe he's at a Super Rod. And in that case, I don't hate the boss KO there from Hedrick then, for sure. Because then you just, like, completely eliminate the threat of the only thing that is a threat. And Estrada's actually thinking about sending up Sableye. Nope, goes to the Comfy. There's no Psychic Energy in hand, so I don't think you can send up the... You could send up the Sableye here. It doesn't make much sense to, though. Comfy, do we see a Psychic? We need a Psychic still at this point. That Archeops is actually about to get... And this is what I was talking about getting the Serena in play to heal the damage as soon as possible. Because eventually the Serena will heal stuff out of play, out of range, right? And we're 2 Serenas away from the Archeops being out of range. I mean, that'd be pretty impressive if that ended up happening, to be honest. But it could happen. Comes an Escape Rope. Probably should just push up to... I wouldn't send up Lugia here. I don't know if I like the Lugia send up here, because this could get KO'd by a Raikou. And if this gets KO'd by Raikou, then Estrada is just a Kyogre for 3 away to win the game. No matter what, Estrada's not like a great spot, but I feel like that opens up an opportunity. Like, I feel like you should push up a 1-prizer here as Hedrick. Like, push up the other Archeops. And if Estrada goes Raikou or... Yeah, if Estrada goes Raikou or Dragonite KO Archeops, just return with T-Tar knockout, with ideally comboed with an Iono. I don't know if I like I don't think I like the Lugia setup here. Raikou's in Lost Zone? Oh, okay. If the Raikou's in Lost Zone, then that's fine. Bro, I can't see the Lost Zone. I don't remember that long ago. Lugia's fine then if the Raikou's in the Lost Zone. That's fine. I'll allow it. So yeah, we still need to see the Sableye attack here from Estrada. But Estrada also only has 3 cards left in the deck. So we need... Actually, no. No, they're not quite out of range. Actually, Estrada might be out of Escape Ropes, to be honest. If Estrada's out of Escape Ropes, I'm pretty sure the game is over. Now we see a Dragonite coming down. But the Dragonite also loses Estrada the game here. Because Estrada can't draw 4 prize cards in a turn. The Dragonite's not doing anything here for Estrada. There's the mill. Yeah, this game is over. This game is over. Because if Estrada goes punch the Lugia, all Hedrick has to do is retreat Lugia, knock out with T-Tar. And then there's no way for Estrada to draw 4 prize cards, and there's plenty of ways for Hedrick to draw 1 prize card. So this game's over at this point. The only win condition here from... Yeah, okay, there's a concede, yeah. There was no win condition at that point at all on the scoop from Estrada. All right, we got Tina versus the Lugia. I think this matchup's pretty close. Both paths are prized. Bradner only plays 2 paths, so Bradner can't do like any path cheese in the early game, which you do want to do against Lugia. You want to like turn 2 path him and force him to have the out usually. But Bradner actually plays Temple of Sinnoh. So Bradner has 2 ways to get around Gift Energy, which is actually a really big deal in this matchup, as long as you can find the Temple of Sinnoh. Because you have Star Requiem, which gets around Gift Energy, and then you can go Temple of Sinnoh, plus the first attack get rid of Temple of Sinnoh. So this matchup, I think, is actually going to be really good. This matchup specifically is really good for Bradner just based on his list. The matchup, I think, is pretty close, but with the Temple of Sinnoh, I think it definitely makes a huge difference. So we'll see how it goes. I also don't know if... well, I guess Sawyer does play the Urshifu. But I feel like the Urshifu doesn't... I mean, as long as you hold Star Requiem, Urshifu shouldn't matter too much. What do I think of Colorless Lugia? I think it's probably just worse than Single Strike Lugia. But I haven't played with it all recently, so... Yeah, I think it's probably just worse than Single Strike. So there's like no reason to play it. This matchup feels so good with Snorlax. I mean, Snorlax just is like 2 hit. I don't know if Snorlax is actually that good because then you're down 1 gate to get big 1 hit KOs with Tina. I actually don't know how much Snorlax actually matters in this matchup. Urshifu is prized too. It is prized, but it probably doesn't matter too much just because as long as like Bradner holds the Star Requiem, it's not going to make a big deal. It goes hard with Mew when 151 comes out, but right now feels bad. Yeah, it might be better when 151 comes out. I mean, the Mew's just really, really good. So we had Comfey into Nest Ball for Comfey. And actually, to be honest, I don't even think, like, you want to get turn 2 Tina attack in this matchup, probably. But if Bradner doesn't find even any Tinas this turn, I don't think it's the end of the world, to be honest. Like, if you just Comfey, and then pass with nothing else on your bench, I think it's probably fine. To give up a Roxanne there, which is something you're trying to combo with the Temple of Sinnoh and your Star Requiem. So you don't really, like, if you don't think you're going to be able to attack turn 2 with Tina, well, I mean, evolving your Tinas is nice to get them out of range of getting boss KO'd by a Lugia, but as long as you can bench double Tina on a future turn at some point, it's really not that big of a deal. You don't have to get a Tina out turn 1 if you go first in this matchup. If you go second, you generally want to get a Tina out, but you have more opportunity to get the Tinas out because you have more opportunities to get the Tinas out because you do have the because you have Colress, so you're gonna probably see more cards. It does end up going with the Tina here over something like another Comfey or the Greninja. But I guess there's no energy in hand to combo with the Greninja. It has the evolution in hand as well. Like I said, you do want to evolve them. I don't think it's like terrible to have not grabbed a Tina here though, but it's actually I don't know if I do like the Tina grab here. I don't know, because you're like developing your board a little bit less by not going for a third Comfey here. And even if you do evolve this Tina next turn, it's still like a boss T-Tar away from just getting KO'd. And now you have like a less developed board overall. I guess it does kind of depend a little bit on what the rest of the hand is. And there is still a possibility for Bradner to actually pull off of a turn 2 attack. Like I said, like the turn 2 attack I don't think is like, I think your win condition in this matchup is more so just bricking them on like Roxanne plus Requiem or Roxanne plus Sinnoh KO. I kind of like the idea of the third Comfey with the Greninja here, to be honest. Well, the Greninja couldn't be used because there was no energy in hand. So Greninja's not a possibility, but third Comfey was possible with the other thing. But the other problem here, I guess, as well, I see the problem with that as well is you start to run out of ways to find your Tinas, to be honest. So maybe it is better to grab Tina here because, to be honest, the deck only plays like 3 Nest Ball usually, I feel like. And Bradner's already used 2 Nest Ball. So, and you can't use Battle VIP Pass next turn. So maybe it is better for Bradner to grab the Tina now, because otherwise you run into a situation where the Tina is just literally, you might just not be able to find Tina anymore, which is possible at a certain point. So Ultra Ball away double chops for Noah, and then Gift Active, Research. So we'll see a Read the Wind here. Has a Collapse Stadium in hand, has some stadiums in hand. So has the outs to the paths that don't exist because because Bradner did prize both paths. Nest Ball for T-Tar seems really good here. I think you might as well, because if you do get KO'd here from by Bradner, you'd want to set something up that can return knockout a Tina. So if Bradner does have the turn 2 KO, you want to be able to respond to that immediately. And now you have like, I mean, you almost like want the option of T-Tar yourself anyways to be able to, if Bradner doesn't get the KO, you want to be able to go boss KO the Tina off the bench yourself as Noah here as well. There we go. Read the Wind for 3. So it sounds good to me. Colress in hand. Couple Comfeys to work with as well. No Greninja yet. But still could get, I don't even know. I guess, well, I don't think you would even want to go for the attack here as Bradner if you don't have like a follow-up Tina. That sounds kind of risky. So I almost feel like you'd want to force Noah to have the boss, to be honest, and the evolution, as opposed to attacking with your own Tina here, to be honest. There was a Cram in that hand there from Bradner, but you don't really need to attack with Cram in this matchup, to be honest. But actually is taking the Cram over a gate. I don't know, Cram into Lugia doesn't do that much here, I feel like. I guess it does hit it, so then you don't have to worry about... down the Iono as well, so down a Roxanne and an Iono here. It does hit the Lugia, so that way you don't have to worry about using Requiem to get through a V-Guard energy, possibly, if you can't find the Temple of Sinnoh. So it does set up that for you. But yeah, this is actually looking pretty scary for Bradner here. You probably should evolve it. I mean, evolving doesn't change too much, though, to be honest, because I feel like if Noah has boss KO on the Tina, plus V-Star, you get KO'd no matter what. Like, the... extra, I guess the extra HP means it forces it into the T-Tar from Noah, so you do mill yourself. I guess it is probably better to evolve there, to be honest. My problem with evolving here, though, is now you have to like recover the V-Star and then find the V-Star again, whereas otherwise you could just like find your Vs and then you have the V-Star still to work with, and you don't have to recover the V-Star. So I don't hate the idea of not evolving here, because like basically if Noah has evolved plus boss, you're dead anyways. But I guess you at least force the mill on from Noah. And you do play 2 rods, so like you can recover, and you're still waiting 2 turns to find the V-Star anyways. So, all right, we'll see if I know Noah has a Mezagoza in hand, but I don't know if there's a boss in the hand. Could be Luminion. There is a Luminion, so Mezagoza. This heads or Mezagoza heads. All right, so that should lead to boss KO on the Tina on the bench. I'm pretty sure there's a V-Guard in the hand to retreat. So it should be just KO on Tina here from Noah, and that should put Noah super far ahead to begin this game. But there is still the comeback potential of the Star Requiem or Sinnoh plus KO plus hand disruption to get around Gift. So the comeback potential is still there for Bradner. But to be honest, I don't actually like the V-Guard grab. The V-Guard on the T-Tar doesn't do anything. I don't know if we can avoid it. Well, actually it's probably fine. Why not evolve the full HP one? Because you don't want this one to die to Sableye or just getting boss Cram KO'd. You definitely want to evolve that one. You want to evolve both at some point, but yeah, Luminion for boss. Like if Bradner scooped here, I wouldn't hate it. I don't think it would be terrible for Bradner to scoop here. Should you stick it out? Maybe, I don't know, maybe stick it out here. I don't hate the idea of conceding, to be honest. from Bradner. Attach, retreat, double Archeops coming down. Load it up. You do need to go for 4 non-double turbo energy. 2 of them have to be single strike energy. You get to go for 2 of the colorless ones. You should... The V-Guard you kind of want... You want the possibility of this... It depends how many V-Guard Noah plays. I have no clue. But you want the possibility of a V-Guard on a second Lugia V-Star at some point to potentially make it harder for Bradner to KO. Like if Bradner has to Star Requiem at a different point, then all of a sudden you can't Star Requiem the Lugia with the V-Guard. Bradner does play the Temple of Sinnoh, which gets around the V-Guard for the 280, but like still... I'm just not sure how many V-Guard Noah plays. But if there's another V-Guard in here, then I like holding the gifts. Because you also want to constantly have the gifts be a threat of like draw power on your side as well. So, also, I think we should see... there's 2 stadiums in hand here for Noah. So I think Noah should put Collapse in play, discard Luminion. So that way next turn, Noah could go Mezagoza, Luminion again, boss KO another T-Tar. So I think we should see Noah play the Collapse right now to get rid of this Luminion. It removes the liability of Luminion, which isn't as big of a liability in this matchup as it is in other matchups, but it allows you to open up your bench to put another Luminion in play to get another boss to just keep bossing the Tinas. Because if Bradner only puts down a 1 Tina on the next turn as well, that puts you in a pretty good spot. So we'll see if Noah does that or not. And also, like, now that you're set up like this at this point from Noah, you're way less scared of Path to the Peak. I don't know if Noah knows about Bradner's Temple of Sinnoh. Most Tinas do not play Temple of Sinnoh. Bradner does, but most people don't, so I'm curious to know about that. And then, I mean, I assume we're still going to see the boss here. Like I said, I want to see the Collapsed, get rid of the Luminion here. There's an argument to get rid of the Lugia, I guess. Not really, though, right? Yeah, it's always get rid of the Luminion here. There's the boss, and yeah, Noah does the play. So now you can open up your own bench on your next turn. There's the mill for 4, 2 energy. That's not good. And that's like the one thing that can happen here is you could always just lose here as Bradner. I guess you should always wait and see what the T-Tar mills, to be honest. Or Noah can always just lose to milling themselves. That could literally just be how Noah loses his game. And like I'm not that experienced with this matchup, so it's probably fine for Bradner to stick it out because like the comeback potential in this matchup is pretty high for Tina. Like Roxanne, like I said, Roxanne plus Requiem or the 280 attack plus the Sinnoh, like could be disruptive enough where the Lugia player just can't make a comeback. But I mean, and also, like, if Noah runs out of too much energy, the Lugias just won't be able to attack anymore. And, like, then Noah's 100% reliant on setting up single strike attackers, which is, like, harder to set up when you're getting, like, Roxanne plus a single strike attacker is getting knocked out. So it's possible, like, milling those two energy right there from Noah could be enough, whereas as long as Bradner can get through this T-Tar plus Disrupt, then maybe Bradner just wins, to be honest. Also, it's possible Bradner shouldn't bench a Tina here and wait until Bradner can bench. Bradner might, even if Bradner has a Tina in hand right now, you maybe shouldn't bench Tina until you can find double Tina and bench them both at once. Because if you bench one Tina this turn and then Noah just goes boss KO it again, it's pretty bad. If you have super out here, though, as Bradner, you probably should play it. Because if you get Iono'd here, you want to have this. You need the Tinas in your. You need a bench of Tina at some point. But you don't have to bench it this turn, I guess. Chat and the actual stream are some of the most brain dead takes I've ever seen. I mean, it's because they don't play Pokemon. They just are people watching a PokemonTCG stream. You know what I'm saying? They don't actually play the game. Yeah, so no Tina this turn, but I think that's fine for Bradner to not have a Tina here. I think from Noah, all you want to really do is just focus. Actually, to be honest, I want to see. I kind of want to see the Serena come down and heal up, start to heal some of this damage, because then that plays around Sableye next turn, KOing your T-Tar, which I think you want to. I think you may as well do that. I would bench Serena here because now you can get Sableye. Now the T-Tar can get Sableye. That doesn't sound cool. I don't like the idea of that. Yeah, I don't like the idea of letting my T-Tar get. I think the Serena should have come down here, to be honest. I owned it a 4. Did find a double turbo, which is a big deal here for Noah. Also, I think Noah, well, unless you want to shuffle the deck, I guess, but you're definitely mill KOing this Cram here. Yeah, I definitely like the idea of the Serena coming down to stop the Sableye KO, to be honest. There's some as it goes to Tails. We should definitely load up a single strike on the active here. Unless is there 2 single strike prize? I don't think there is, right? Oh, no, but there's 2 in the discard pile. Oh, the urns were so close. That's right, there's 2 in the discard pile. I was like, why aren't we going to get another single strike energy here? Yikes. After this T-Tar goes down, to be honest, Noah might have not be able to set up another attacker. Yeah, Bradner's actually in like a fine... The amount of energy that's been milled is pretty high here. But this wouldn't be as big of a deal if Noah had benched the Serena. Because now it goes from Bradner... Now it goes from Bradner needing to set up a fully loaded Tina to take the knockout on this T-Tar to now Bradner just needs a Sableye to knock out this T-Tar. But if we had benched Serena and healed the 20 off the T-Tar, the Sableye wouldn't be able to KO the T-Tar. But Bradner still could have got the KO with a Shred, which honestly, in this situation, Shred is like pretty good because there's like no energy left for Noah, to be honest. Noah has like literally no energy left. So it's actually like working out where like the attack from the T-Tar is literally just beating Noah by itself. But yeah, should have benched the Serena, I think, to stop the potential of the Sableye. Like I said, the Shred still works. And there we do. We do see double Tina in hand here for Bradner. And has 11 in the loss zone. I was wondering how many were in the loss zone. We have 11 in the loss zone here. So the Shred at the very least can happen. But I think Sableye would be pretty good. Sableye would be pretty good. Do you ever want to do... What do you want? I think you'd actually rather do... To be honest, I think Shred maybe just wins the game here. If Bradner attacks with Shred, I don't think Noah can actually KO a Tina V, to be honest. I think just making sure that Bradner has the correct amount of cards. And yeah, Bradner's going pretty heavily into the Tina already. Plenty of Grass and Psychic left. I think the Shred is on the way. I think there's another gate in hand as well. So I think Bradner like has it guaranteed Shred knockout. And we're seeing second gate here, I assume, come down now to get a Grass and a Psychic to the bench. Or not yet. Just throws a Psychic on the Comfy first. I assume we're going to... Oh, are we not using Comfy? All right, I'm just confused, to be honest. Are we using Abyss Seeking? Wait, then why wouldn't we Comfy? Okay, the Comfy... I thought Bradner was about to retreat the Comfy. I was so confused. Why didn't we just use... But you have to use another Mirage Gate anyways. Why wouldn't we just use the Mirage Gate first? Why wouldn't you just use the Mirage Gate first to thin out the deck as well? I think you should just use the Mirage Gate again there, right? Unless Bradner's really trying to keep around the... Maybe there wasn't a Mirage Gate in the hand there. I think Bradner... Well, I don't even know if it's correct to actually Sableye over Tina here. I almost like Tina over Sableye here, personally, to be honest. I almost like the idea of just attacking with Tina. You force more out of Noah to respond to it. If you attack with Sableye... Then Noah, it's a little bit easier for Noah to respond to a Sableye and then just needs to KO a Tina to win the game. So I almost like the idea of attacking with the Shred more than I like attacking with the Sableye. It feels like it puts more on Noah to have this turn. And then the next turn, they need Boss's Orders. But maybe you don't want to play into them needing Boss's Orders to win. You'd rather attack with Sableye this turn and then have back-to-back Tinas. You you give him the Sableye, and then you evolve both Tinas. You need him to get through a full HP Tina instead. But I don't know. Is that maybe easier for a T-Tar to do? I don't know. Noah has like no energy left, so maybe it's just not possible, to be honest. Also, it's possible Bradner might just not attack this turn, which I guess is also possible. I do see the Sableye in hand. I guess Bradner could not attack this turn. That's a little too risky then, though, right? Because you lose the boss. You have to. You should KO the T-Tar this turn for sure. You should definitely KO the T-Tar this turn, I feel like. But see, if we had benched the Serena on Noah's side, you would have forced the Shred play out of Bradner, which would require Bradner to have more. Oh, no, it is just the pass. Let's see, is it correct for Bradner to have not taken the knockout? If Bradner could have taken the knockout. I don't know if Bradner could have taken the knockout. Is it ever correct to just not take the knockout here? I feel like that's not correct, right? You should always just take the knockout here if you can. Yeah, because now Noah can win with Boss. Whereas before it was a little bit harder to win with Boss potentially. But now Noah can win with Boss. Boss KO the Tina with the grass, with the T-Tar, into Boss KO Sableye or Comfy. I don't know if there was a possibility for Bradner to actually attack, though. I don't know if Bradner had a way to get into the Sableye. Had the Sableye, but I don't know if Bradner could actually attack with the Sableye there. Got heads, so that means you can go for Luminion for Boss. But if you go for Luminion for Boss, then... Yeah, if you go for Luminion for Boss here... what is the energy count left? There's like 2 double turbos and an urn. It's no energy left. Jesus. If you go for Luminion for Boss here, you do need to like naturally draw into a boss on the next turn. And the thing is, the T-Tar actually can't want to KO a Tina V-Star anymore. Because if you put a double turbo on it, yeah, T-Tar literally can't KO a T-Tar here. Or KO a Giratina here. There's the Serena in play finally. Like I was saying, I would have liked to have seen this on the previous turn, though. We'd have been a little bit further along with the healing. Although it looks like it's not going to matter here. But I don't know. This is a weird play, though, from Noah. Instead of going for the Luminion for Boss and to hopefully get another boss. Maybe Noah doesn't have the extra boss to work with, to be honest. That's possible. But Luminion for Boss... There was definitely Luminion for Boss in the deck. I'm almost positive. KO the Tina with T-Tar. Don't mill your double turbos. If you have an energy left in the deck, put 1 double turbo on the Archeops. Don't mill them. Hopefully pray. And then boss KO any of these things with Archeops to win the game. Any of the small schmucks. Because Bradner's also down an Iono and a Roxanne. I think there's one more Roxanne in Bradner's list. Noah doesn't know that for sure, but a lot of people play double Roxanne, so it's a pretty easy guess, I guess. I think a boss's prize. That's almost even better that there's a boss prize then. Because then Noah can go boss, KO, draw 2 prize cards, and then hopefully pull... hopefully pull the boss off the prize cards and you just have boss for game. And you force Bradner to have the Roxanne. And you have to also not mill your energy, I guess, as well. But the Serena's Death definitely should have been in play last turn. Yeah, I'm curious if Bradner could have attacked with Sableye, if Bradner would have attacked with Sableye. I feel like you would attack with Sableye as Bradner if you could have last turn. Now the Sableye attack from Bradner doesn't do anything. So you can't use Sableye this turn as Bradner. So you have to go Tina knockout and then clean up from there. But to be honest, if you get the Tina knockout here, the game might literally just be over. Could have KO'd. I have no idea why I didn't. Bradner did have the KO with the Sableye. Yeah, I don't know why Bradner wouldn't KO this T-Tar here then. So Bradner had the switch card in hand or whatever to attack with Sableye there. Yeah, I don't know why Bradner wouldn't have taken the KO there. Because that's like the last threat in play. Because there is a possibility for Noah to win by going boss KO Tina into boss KO 1 prizer. I'm pretty sure Noah has 2 boss left. I could be wrong with that. And if Noah doesn't have 2 boss left, then maybe Bradner knew that and knew the Comfy had to be KO'd in the active here. So that's possible as well. I don't actually know how many boss are left. But that would be a fair play then. It's honestly still looking good for Bradner though, because I don't think Noah can respond with a 1 KO on the active here. I think Noah has 1 attack left, and it's never enough to KO a Tina V or a Tina V star. So I think Noah just loses here, to be honest. Man, if you the bench is thin out the deck, in case you get Iono'd. There's Star Requiem for the knockout. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I think Bradner is gonna win this one. There's just no energy left here for Noah. 2 prize cards left. If there's another energy prize, you could go boss with Archeops into boss with Archeops, but sends up the Lugia. There's a boss. Hey, we did have a boss. There's 2 double turbos in the deck and a V card in the hand. I think you do just pass. Oh, okay. I gotta play for Noah. So Noah should just pass here. So Noah should pass, let Bradner attack with Tina, and then Iono. And hope that Bradner can't get enough energy to attack with the Tina again. Now, Bradner's counter to that is just load up extra energy and play, but you can put it on Bradner to like make that play. So I would just, if I was Noah here, I would just pass, and then next turn try and go Luminion for Iono, play Iono, load up a Lugia, hit for 200. Next turn, boss KO it. You could bench a Lugia if you had a hand, to be honest, as Noah here to like then not have the extra cards in your deck as well. That'd be fine. I don't know what that top deck for turn is. So that's the only out I see here for Noah. But Bradner should be able to load up more than enough energy and play. Yeah, Bradner should be able to load up more than enough energy in play here to stop that from actually mattering. I guess it's actually still possible for Noah to win through boss KO the Tina V off the bench with a T-Tar. There's still one T-Tar V attack left available for Noah. Noah has 1 urn left and 1 T-Tar left. So you could still boss KO that Giratina V off the bench. So I guess Bradner should also try and evolve that if possible. So Bradner should try and go evolve the bench one. And then to be honest, yeah, evolve the bench one, then knock out the active. Bradner could also just like switch into the Sableye and just attack with Sableye for turn. And I also think that would be a fine play as well, to be honest. And force the last couple energy out of Noah. No, you probably don't want to do that. Well, 2 single strike energy. Yeah, so 2 single strike energy, 2 double turbos, and a V-Guard. Yeah, if Bradner just loads up enough energy in play, Bradner just wins the game on like the active. But also you want to evolve the bench Tina, because otherwise you could lose to the boss plus T-Tar. So there's 1 energy. We load up any extra energy in play here. There's a jet, but if you jet into... We could attach the jet to the active, right? Oh, but we already attached the grass. Never mind. If we can load up at 1 more energy in play here, Bradner should. Which is super odd. But if we just load our deck with energy as well, if we get Ionode, that's also pretty good. I think Bradner's just putting 1 Psychic in there, maybe? Okay, maybe it's getting Mirage Gated. I think there was like 2 Mirage Gates in the deck as well, so the Iono would probably draw Bradner into the Psychic or the Mirage Gate here. But if you have a Mirage Gate in hand, you can also just load it up and play right now, and that'd be fine. Yep. So we're 1 energy away. So now this is like, this is Noah's play. Put the V-Guard on the active, load up the 2 double turbos, play the Iono. Actually, top decked Iono, but, oh, actually, top decked the Iono, and has the V-Guard, and Bradner's V-Star is gone. So Bradner will need an energy and the Temple of Sinnoh to actually get through this Lugia. Or could just like retreat it to the bench for a turn and chill, I guess. You do need the V-Guard here, though, from Noah to increase your odds. But then you do lose to boss as Noah then. Because you'll be out of ways to retreat. But you need to put both double turbos on the Lugia anyway, so bossing up your Sharina getting boss loses you the game anyways. So yeah, just throw these down there, put the V-Guard active, and then Iono, and then hope that Bradner doesn't have energy plus Temple of Sinnoh. That's the play here from Noah. There's Iono. Yeah, I don't know if Bradner could have loaded up another energy onto the Giratina or not. I mean, I don't know if it would make that big of a difference, to be honest, at this point. I'm not sure. Wait, what just happened? Was that a research? Wait, am I trolling? Wait, why did we not Iono? Wait, wasn't there an Iono in the hand, or am I trolling? Did I just not see an Iono the whole time? I swear there was a top deck Iono, but am I trolling? I might have been trolling, to be honest. Oh, there was no Iono. Dude, I swear I saw an Iono. Did we attempt Mezagoza here from Noah? And I'm curious if Noah even attempted the Mezagoza. Oh yeah, there was the Mezagoza attempt, Tails. Okay, I was a research top deck, not an Iono top deck. I was like, all right, we're locked. Okay, so then I'm assuming Bradner just wins, because the Temple of Sinnoh was in the deck. There's like a 2-card deck left for Bradner, so Bradner needs an energy and a... There's Jet, there's Boss. Okay, that works as well. Jet plus Boss also works there. I guess you just shouldn't have... Noah benching the T-Tar there was definitely a mistake as well. Shouldn't have benched the T-Tar, but I think Bradner probably had the Temple of Sinnoh play, so I don't think the Temple of Sinnoh hit the Lost Zone, so you're literally always trolling. Bro, I thought it was... I swear it was an Iono. I swear I saw Iono. Okay, so yeah, Bradner with the comeback there. It definitely seems possible in this matchup for sure as well, so it's not that big of a surprise that we saw. I was even questioning, like, should Bradner just concede here with that boss KO? But no, if they can't chain the boss KOs, and... the single strike crush literally mills all of your energy. You can definitely make a comeback here as Bradner, which is literally what happened. Noah milled all of their energy. Milled all their energy. Yeah. All right. 2 chops prize, not great. T-Tar prize, not great. So 3 bad prize cards here for Noah. The other 2 don't really matter too much. But prizing Archeops is just not great because it's just less likely to have them in your hand, which means you're likely to discard them. A lot of Pokemon Search prize for Bradner, though. If Bradner doesn't find any early Battle VIP passes, Bradner might struggle to actually set up as the game progresses. We do have the Urshifu start here from Noah, which, to be honest, probably isn't great because then then Bradner can get like a free cram hit onto the Urshifu to get it in range of the 280. So actually, opening Urshifu actually is probably pretty bad in this matchup, to be honest. And also Ultra Ball's away the Burnett. I'm curious to know what Noah's hand is that we Ultra Ball away Burnett. But I guess if you don't have an out to the... I guess if Noah does not have an out to a V-Star, then you need to get a... If you don't have an out to a V-Star, then you need to get your... If you don't have an out to a V-Star, then you need like player research anyways, I guess. I'm curious to know what the rest of the hand is then. I can't tell though. It's double turbo and something. He has another brunette in hand. Oh, okay, I guess that works then. All right, over to Bradner. Top deck to Nest Ball. So I think that's all Nest Balls exhausted at this point. There's a Battle VIP pass in the hand as well. Might even be 2 Battle VIP passes. So plenty of stuff to work with here for Bradner. So the prized Pokemon search is not the end of the world here. Checking the prize cards real fast. Yeah, I think it might even be 2 Battle VIP passes in the hand. Next time, Victor. Next time. You'll get him next time. Price checking. And I'm curious to see, I guess like the only thing you'd want to stress this turn for sure. Like we saw like getting Tina's in play isn't that big of a deal for Bradner. We saw how it played out. Like getting the Tina's in play early isn't that big of a deal. How much does Bradner value trying to get like that turn 1 cram attack would be something I'm curious about for sure. Another Battle VIP pass. I assume we'll see the cram here now. But if you go for cram here, you can't really go for Greninja because you can't just only have 1 Tina in play. You have to be able to put 2 Tinas in play. You got to see 2 Tinas come into play here. Ignoring the Greninja right now as well. So the question be, you could go Greninja plus double Tina, or yeah, Greninja plus double Tina or Cram plus double Tina, and goes for the double Tina. Well, you have to go double Tina. You're always going double Tina here. The question is, do you go with Cram or do you go with Greninja? And so far, Bradner has not put too much emphasis on the Cram. Or not the Cram, the Greninja, like, at all. And Bradner doesn't play a way to actually attack with it, so it makes a little bit more sense. That's less of a threat. I guess in this matchup, you're never attacking with Greninja anyways. Yeah, you never attack with... Well, it could happen. It's unlikely. It would be to... You'd use it to, like, break V-Guard energy, basically. But Sableye also does that, so it's, like, not something to stress about. But we'll see a triple comfy turn 1 here from Bradner for sure. And then maybe use... I mean, look for a course, I guess. And then maybe attack with Cram. Or maybe get Greninja in play and use that. But yeah, the Cram hit on the Urshifu seems pretty valuable, to be honest. Because then you get it down to that... You don't have to start Requiem it to KO it. So it'd be pretty good if you can get there, I think, here from Bradner. Bradner has single water, no ninja attack. Yeah, I know, that's what I meant. There's no threat of the attack, so it's like theoretically less important, but it's also just like never important in this matchup. There's the Nest Ball, so we can go with the Cram. Like I said, it seems like it's decent to attack. As long as you can get the attack into the actual Urshifu, hitting the Lugia with the Cram is definitely less valuable, but it does kind of break the potential for the V-Guard on the Lugia, so it gets either of them in range for 280 later. Has a Path in hand? Yeah, Path could definitely be big here. I mean, this is the time to use Path in this matchup. Use it turn 2, or use it the turn they're about to use V-Star, and then also use it later to stop Luminian. Yeah, Bradner probably did. I mean, he wasn't lying, though. He had the water. There we go. Path pass. Has done everything else. Over to Noah. There is a collapsed. Comfy or Cram here, biting the dust. It is the Cram. Here comes an Ultra Ball. Lugia V-Star. And there's a Burnett. But this is leaving Noah with literally a dead hand. So Noah has nothing. So I guess we're probably just attacking with Urshifu here. But you kind of want to save the Urshifu to respond to a Giratina. So you don't really want to attack with Urshifu here. I don't understand the draw to play Urshifu over Stone right now. I don't think you're not playing Urshifu to have a fighting attacker in your deck. It's not like Urshifu or Stonejourner. I think you play Urshifu so you have just a high HP Pokemon that literally KOs anything. You're not like, oh, it's not what a fighting attacker do I want to play? It's like, is Urshifu worth playing right now in the meta? Urshi breaks Dura. Yeah, but Dura's not a deck anyone's like teching for. Yeah, you're not wondering what fighting attacker you're playing. You're just like, is Urshifu worth playing in the meta? Because you could definitely be playing Urshifu, and like Urshifu doesn't fill the same role as what Stonejourner does, and Stonejourner definitely does not fill the same role as what Urshifu does. Like if you're trying to beat Miraidon, you always play Stonejourner because Urshifu actually doesn't help your prize trade at all in the Miraidon matchup, or it can just be a really high HP Pokemon that they can't KO. But yeah, it's not like you're not picking a fighting Pokemon. You're just picking whether or not Urshifu is worth playing. What is the matchup where Urshifu is good against? I was just on the top of my head, but now I forgot what it was. Oh, Charizard. It's for the Charizard matchup. You play the Urshifu right now. The only reason to play Urshifu right now is literally the Charizard matchup. That's it. You also can, like, it's better against Gudra. But yeah, you're not picking a fighting Pokemon. You're just deciding whether or not Urshifu is worth it. Urshifu is good against Charizard. And that's about it. And I guess if you hit a Dura, if you hit a Rogue Dura, the Rogue Duras are out there. You can, you know, one-hit KO a Dura. You hit a Rogue Gudra. Like, it helps you beat cheesy stuff, but, like, I wouldn't play the Urshifu personally. But I would definitely play Stonejourner for sure. The Urshifu is better than nothing against Miraidon because it just has such high HP that you attack. If you attack turn 2 with Urshifu VMAX, it's possible the Miraidon player doesn't have the boss or can't one-hit KO it with the Raichu on that turn. So it does have like some viability in the matchup against Miraidon. But Stonejourner is definitely the better of the two for sure. Definitely, because it's like less to set up. It's not an evolution, whatever it might be, for sure. So Bradner definitely at least wants to hit. Bradner definitely wants to at least hit this Urshifu this turn, if not just one-hit KO it. You'd probably just rather look for the one-hit KO, but you don't want this Urshifu to evolve and just be like full HP next turn. So you really want to avoid it evolving. Now, Noah does have a 0-card hand, or did have a 0-card hand into a 1-card hand off the prize cards. So I don't think Bradner's like stressing here, like, oh my gosh, he's got the nuts. So if Bradner just goes past and then Noah gets another KO on a Comfy, it's kind of like whatever. It's like not the end of the world. You are scared of Boss, but Boss is like pretty unlikely from Noah next turn. And I think Bradner maybe just does have like attach pass. Oh, here comes a Jet. We're using a Comfy. We're up at 8th Lost Zone. We're going up to 9 in the Lost Zone. So an attack this turn is like not unheard of here from Bradner. And it would be even better if Bradner has like Sinnoh KO. That would be a pretty good play. But yeah, it is just the pass here. So, but I don't think Noah drew very well off that. So Noah's still in danger of needing Gift to bail them out, and then Bradner can just play around the Gift with Star Requiem. And you don't want to Star Requiem here though as Bradner, because you want to save that to KO the Urshifu. So ideally Bradner wants to get Temple of Sinnoh and then 280 KO the Lugia. So that way, if Noah's top deck or prize card is good, then is Cobalion better than Ursh? Well, Cobalion's only good against Charizard, but the Ursh is good against Gudra and Duraludon. Like, Ursh is just better against more things. Duraludon is just, like, not an evolution Pokemon, so you can't prize one of the pieces, and it's less to set up. And it's less to set up, but it's only good against Charizard. So it's, like, less to set up, but it's only good against Charizard. Whereas Ursh, like, covers, like, a whole, like, array of, like, cheesy bad decks. But, like, I don't know, taking for a bad deck doesn't seem worth it. And Charizard is a bad deck as well. Charizard also fits the criteria of bad deck. Oh, also Arctina. The Urshifu is really good against Arctina as well. So there's like another matchup it's good against. But all of these bad decks equal what? 2% of the meta? I don't know. Is it worth teching for 2% of the meta? And none of these decks are going to make day 2? Like, probably not. Like, are we teching for a bunch of decks that are not going to make day 2? I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. Also, you can even go further into that analysis and be like, okay, if the deck is bad, how likely is that good players play it? It's less likely. Therefore, it being a bad matchup without you having the tech card is less relevant because you're already considering yourself a better player. So at that point, you're like, well, I'm the better player. So even if the matchup was slightly unfavored without Urshifu or unfavored without Urshifu, now it's because my opponent's probably worse than me. It's probably like a 50-50, right? Because good players theoretically aren't playing those bad decks. So you're not only are you teching for bad decks, you're teching for players that are playing bad decks that are worse than you. So at that point, it's probably like a 50-50. True, could be good. Charizard Gallade. All right, I think we're looking for an attack here from Bradner, finally. And like I said, you want to combo with Temple of Sinnoh. You can either combo with Temple of Sinnoh here from Bradner, or you can take the risk on the Star Requiem KO on the Lugia and then hoping that Noah's top deck and prize card are bad. I think here, no matter what from Bradner, we're probably taking the knockout. Ideally with Temple of Sinnoh, though. Ideally, you want to go 280 Temple of Sinnoh, so that way the gift doesn't trigger. Yes, yeah. Star Requiem and then the Urshifu happening would be really bad. So there's the switch. I think it is going to be the Star Requiem. And now as Bradner, you're praying that the Urshifu does it. Because the Urshifu happens at this point, it's looking pretty bad for Bradner, to be honest. It's looking pretty rough. Bradner still could go Tina into Sableye into Tina. But then Noah could just win with a boss. Noah does have an Ultra Ball here. But we need to find... And do we need an urn? How much energy does the thing require? There's single strike energy in hand. I think it's 3 single strike energy to get the KO here. So Noah needs to go Ultra Ball for Luminion, Luminion for research into Urshifu VMAX and an urn. So we'll see if Noah can put it together here. I think it is 3 single strikes, right? Yeah, we'll see if Noah can put it together here. But that's going to be the play here from Noah. There we go. There's the research. Like I said, VMAX and an urn. Has a single strike energy in hand, so I should already use one of the Archeops here as Noah, I think, to thin out the deck. But choosing not to, interesting. You could go, because you could at least punch the active Tina with Ursh. But to be honest, if you whiff, you maybe just want to retreat this Urshifu, because then you give Bradner the KO active plus boss KO play. Yeah, but I don't know, though. Actually, I don't know, because we could have thinned out 2 more cards here from Noah. We could have searched 2 energy out of the deck, thrown them on the Urshifu, research away this energy, and then we get an urn, play the urn, second Archeops, get 2 more energy, put them onto the Urshifu. Because now there's like 2 more cards in the deck that could just be in play, so that decreases our odds of finding the VMAX plus the urn. I'm actually not sure about this one, to be honest. I actually think Noah should have played more aggressively here for the Urshifu play. Because to be honest, if you don't get the Urshifu play here, that's not good. I guess, yeah, that's not good. Especially with already committing your attachment here, you have to like retreat into Yveltal or something to get attacked. But that means you hit the urn. So if you're hitting the urn, because you're never retreating to like Lugia to attack here, that doesn't sound very good. Although I want to be terrible, because then you could go into Urshifu after that. But then they still have the boss KO and Illuminate. So I think Noah should have been more aggressive here and used one of the Archeops to thin out the deck by 2. Yeah, Noah should have been a little bit more aggressive here. I would like to have seen Noah be a little bit more aggressive here. No urn. We did find an Ultra Ball. So no out to actually attacking with the Urshifu. Wait, well, we could use just use the first attack, though, right? We could just punch here with the first attack, and then we're not getting KO'd. That's not too bad, actually. That's a fine spot to be in. Okay, wait, hang on. I forgot about that attack, though. But then that's even a better reason to have been more aggressive and use the Archeops, one of the Archeops ahead of time, right? Yeah, it's even like a better reason to have used an Archeops. Because we still stay out of KO range here. And then I'm curious to see what Bradner does in response to this. Because theoretically, Noah still wins the prize trade here, but it would come down to like finding a lot of energy. Does the V-Guard, so is the V-Guard on the active ever actually matter? So currently the Urshifu will live with 50 HP. It could live with 80 HP. Sableye goes 80 HP. Then you use 80 HP, and then you use the Serena. You have 100 HP left. Sableye KOs you, puts 20 here as opposed to 40. Yeah, I think the V-Guard actually does make a difference here, because now the Sableye can clean this up, put energy on the Luminion, and then you can KO the Luminion with back-to-back Sableyes after you like rock. You could go like, so Bradner goes like punch for 280. Noah goes, okay, knockout next turn, and then Bradner goes Sableye KO, put a bunch of damage on Luminion, bench second Sableye, Roxanne, Sinnoh, and then the Sableye cleans up the Luminion for the last... Oh, no, but actually, no. Bradner would have 1 prize card left, so you could like double KO the Archeops. So maybe the V-Guard doesn't matter. Maybe it matters more than actually. Let me do the math again. So V-Guard on the active, we're hitting for 250, so we have 80 HP left. Heal 20 with Serena. 100 HP left. Sableye goes hit 20, heal that 20. So I think the V-Guard actually does matter on the Urshifu here. I don't know if there was one in the deck to actually find off the Archeops, though, actually. There's 2 V-Guards in hand, but we already attached return, so we can't do that. So I think the V-Guard on the active is actually relevant, so that way Bradner can't Sableye chain here. So we should have, if there was a V-Guard left in the deck here for Noah sort of should have searched that out and put it on the active. But I actually don't know if there was. There's 2 in hand. I don't know how many Noah plays. Is there one in the discard pile as well? Maybe. Oh, there is one in the discard pile. So it was unfortunate for Noah to draw into double V-Guard energy. Yeah, it was unfortunate for Noah to draw into double V-Guard energy. But hold up, wait. It's not unfortunate. It's a misplay, because Noah could have used one of the Archeops. Once again, Noah could have used an Archeops before using the research and searched out Single Strike energy plus V-Guard energy, attach Single Strike energy from hand, play the research, try and maximize the odds of drawing into the VMAX plus an urn, get the urn, use the urn, get the 2 Single Strike energy back, put them on the Urshifu won a KO. But if you whiff, then you have the V-Guard on the Urshifu. But now Noah got full punished, which you love to see, because Noah didn't use a Archeops before playing the research. So, yeah. It would actually be hilarious if Noah's top deck is... No, that wouldn't really change. No, it would be, because the V-Guard wouldn't be in the hand. I mean, that's not actually how it works, but if Noah top decks urn here, it'd be pretty funny. Because Noah would have had one of the Single Strike energy that's in Noah's hand would have been in Noah's hand, and then you would have drawn the next card. And then if it is the urn, like, it doesn't actually work that way, because the whole hand could theoretically be different if Noah had used a Archeops first, but it just feels good, you know? All right, so Bradner here, looking for the 280 punch, I assume. Bradner here could even, like... you probably should attack with the active Tina, to be honest. You don't want to switch. Well, No, you don't want to switch to the other Tina. So active Tina hits 280. Clean up with Sableye next turn, and then you can go Sableye, or you can go Sableye then Tina. There's a couple different ways that Bradner can close this out from here. So Noah doesn't need to Iono this turn. Noah wants to Iono next turn. Actually, it's possible for Bradner to maybe play around Iono at this point. So we see the punch here from Bradner. No, you have to KO this Urshifu. I don't think Bradner's going to leave this Urshifu alive here, actually. So there we go. I wonder if the Psychic energy actually should have been Though maybe we should have lost on the grass. I don't know what the other stuff's lost on or what's in the prize cards here. But you need to get a Psychic on a Sableye. So another Psychic in the discard to Super Rod back into the deck increases the odds of attacking with Sableye next turn. I guess you could also, but to be honest though, maybe Bradner should just attack with back-to-back Tinas. No, that's bad because then you can just go get T-Tard and lose the T-Tard. Doesn't seem great. You definitely want to play an Iono this turn if you can find one as Noah though, because Bradner's hand is pretty stacked. It's pretty big. There's a lot set up in it. What was the top? Wait, what was the top deck there from? I didn't pay attention. I was gonna pay attention to what the top deck was. I don't think it was an Urn though. We probably would have seen that get played right here. Yeah, you definitely want to Iono here as Noah if you can. Yeah, like I think even I don't know. So we got a heads here. Would you ultra? Oh, there's no Luminion in the deck. I was gonna say, would we Ultra Ball for Luminion for Iono though? I don't know if we would do that. No, you know what? To be honest, we probably would. I don't know. Do you want to save the Luminion to be able to draw into have the out of the second Luminion off of a Roxanne or Iono for Bradner? That actually might be better, to be honest. I'm actually not sure about that. It might just be attack. No Ultra Ball play. Not even thinning out the deck. I feel like the Ultra Ball should have been played there. I don't know. Unless there is a Luminion that was prized there from Noah, then keep the Ultra Ball around. No, there's no Luminion. Is it Luminion in the discard pile? It must be. We must have discarded it earlier. So I think Noah probably should have played that Ultra Ball, to be honest, and discarded 2 cards. Just that way, when you get Roxanne or Iono here, you can't draw into it. So there's a Sableye sent up for Bradner. So like I said, now we're going to the Sableye from Bradner, and you can go Sableye to win. You can go Sableye Tina to win here as Bradner. And Noah has to draw into Boss KO Tina next turn, or you don't for sure lose as Noah, but you probably lose. Yeah, so Noah like has to draw into Boss KO Tina this next turn. That's what we're like basically. That's what Noah has to like look for here, anyways. There's the Temple of Sinnoh, so that's gonna make things harder. Not only do you need Boss KO Tina, you need Boss KO Tina plus. You need a so off of like a potential Iono here. Noah has to draw into Boss, Earn, Stadium Bump. Noah needs a perfect 3 here to actually win. So it's pretty unlikely that Noah wins the game this turn. And that is not any of those cards. So yeah, Noah's not winning the game this turn. Actually, I don't even know how you approach the situation as Noah. And now the Tina is like fully loaded up and ready to go. Brandon's going to go down to 1 prize card. I actually don't think there's a win condition here for Noah. I think Noah just loses the game here now. I think it's just over. Boss the Greninja, I guess. You just boss the Greninja, I guess. So save a lot. And you do want to KO the active, because then you force an extra card out of Noah. Because if you KO the active here with the Sableye, then if you don't KO the active, then Noah just needs Earn Ball. Oh no, actually, because of energy in the discard pile, it would always require the same 3. So to be honest, actually here as Bradner, actually, is this a mistake? No, I don't think so, because you have game set up on board. So no matter what, Noah has to win this turn. But because of there's no single strike energy in the deck, yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I don't think it actually makes a difference. Because Noah would still need Earn Stadium Bump Boss. Noah currently needs Earn Stadium Bump Boss. There's the Boss top deck, but there's no Earn Stadium Bump. We have a Research in the hand here for Noah, so I assume we're going to... Well, how many Boss are left, though? I think there is 1 Boss left in the deck, maybe. Yeah, I saw the second Luminion in the discard pile there. So we can go Archeops KO the active. And then you're hoping... Yeah, Archeops... Wait, what? Well, we had to send up the other Archeops here, right? If we're going Archeops KO active, we should have sent up the other... Because Bradner has 1 prize card left. Wait, does Noah realize Bradner has 1 prize card left? Why do we ever send up Archeops here? Does that ever make any sense? What is the play? Oh, wait, no, actually, we have no play here. I'm trying to think of, like, any kind of play. If Noah had... Nope, there's nothing. There's actually 0 plays here. All right, I think we can skip ahead in this one. This one's cooked. Yeah, there's the concede. There was never a win condition here for Noah. Always cooked, always done. All right, last round of day 2. Hunter Butler with Lost Box. I'm not sure if Hunter's playing Kyogre or not. And then we got Brian McDaniel with the Miraidon. And this matchup is definitely favored for Lost Box. Is definitely Lost Box, or is definitely favored for Lost Box. But like the Bravery Charms plus switch cards can make things a little bit funky. A little bit more disruption through Judge and Iono is also potentially a big deal in this matchup as well. I got the Miraidon start here for Brian. Was one of the Raiku's prize there? One Raikou is prized, and that's usually most likely your first attacker just because it takes us energy to attack with. Also, a switch card and a Bravery Charmer prize. Prizing a Raikou is not that big of a deal, but prizing a switch card, to be honest, and the Bravery Charmer is pretty annoying. So we'll see what kind of build Hunter has here. There was the Pokestop prized. Can't tell what's... It looks like just Psychics and Waters. So I would assume it's some Kyogre type build. It looked like just Psychics and Waters in there. No, there's Lightnings. There's Lightnings. I think I see a Raikou there as well. Yeah, I don't know if there's Kyogre or not. It's at least semi-turbo-ish build. There might be a Town Store towards the front of the deck, which means there might be the Vengeful Punches in here. That looks like a Town Store. I can't tell, though. Look at a little bit Town Story. Yeah, like I said, definitely a favorable matchup for Lost Box. You need to start, like, one of your best attackers in this matchup is definitely just like Greninja, just putting damage in play, clean that up with Sableye later, stuff like that. As long as you're doing damage each turn, you usually just win as Lost Box. If you're attacking with Cram, Greninja, or Sableye, like scaling into those, you usually just win. Turbo without Kyogre. Okay, Turbo, no Kyogre. Greninja and Comfey off the VIP pass. And Hunter is going first, I believe. Actually, you know what? To be honest, in this matchup, nah, I don't know if I'm convinced of that. Maybe it is better to go first. Honestly, I could see going second being better in this matchup. I could see second going better in this matchup because you're just trying to set up an attack as Lost Box. If you just set up an attack, you just win. So if you just get to go second, attack turn 1 with Cram, and then next turn attack with Greninja, and then go into Sableye after that, usually just win. Maybe get another Greninja playoff at some point. On Brian's side, if you go first, you get turn 1 Cram attacked. Pretty much no matter what, we're assuming Brian's getting off a turn 1 Raikou attack. I could see going first being better in this matchup, to be honest. Or going second being better in this matchup, actually, to be honest. I don't know. I'm nothing not sold one way or the other, but I could see it. So there's a Raikou hit there from Hunter. I wouldn't hate to see Hunter bench this Raikou potentially because one of the plays that the Miraidon deck likes to do is turn 1 Judge. Really have had more success going second. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like going second, like just set it like in prize race type matchups where you can both attack turn 1. It almost feels better to go second. Like valuing the draw supporter for more setup. And then, yeah, I don't know. Just going second does not sound bad. Another Comfey coming out here from Hunter. And like I said, I wouldn't hate the benching of the... I wouldn't hate to see Hunter bench Raikou here. Because one of the Miraidon deck's best plays is like turn 1 attack with Raikou plus Judge. It's like one of the decks. Yeah, and there's the Raikou bench there, which I don't hate that from Hunter at all. I wonder what the grab actually was instead of the Battle VIP pass, because even Battle VIP pass would have been pretty good there as well. And here comes the Miraidon from Brian. Let's play the Flying Pikachu. Love to see that. The Flying Pikachu is really good against Lost Box in general because it's got that more HP than the Zeraora. And it looks like it might be a path build here from Brian. I can't 100% tell. There's definitely a beach court in there. No, there's definitely a path in there. But I don't know if it's like a triple path, quad path type build. One path. I think I saw a beach court, so maybe it's like a split. Yeah, you definitely want to get a Mareep here. You should definitely bench a Mareep here. It looks like a heavy path build. Goes with the Raikou, gets the Mareep. Has a generator in hand as well. I don't think has the Judge, so unfortunately doesn't have like the turn 1 Judge play. But that's what you'd want to look for here as Brian, is turn 1 Judge plus attack. Has an Arven. Yeah, I don't see the Judge, unfortunately. Has a couple generators that'll work with. We'll see how these go. At the very least wants to get a turn 1 attack here for Brian. Actually, to be honest, Brian maybe shouldn't have benched the Mareep. That's tough. What do you not bench here? Generator number 2. Come on, just 1 energy. Jeez. That's rough. Yeah, to be honest, maybe Brian. I played a fair share of Kyogre in League Cups, knowing they're playing Brian. I chose to go second. Unless I brick, I almost never lose going second. Yeah, going second, like especially with the Kyogre build, you're just concerned with setting up more. So there's a research. So could have actually played the Arven there, and the Arven is definitely more likely to set up. Playing Arven there is definitely more likely to actually attack with Raikou this turn, because now you have to draw into a generator off a research. Whereas the Arven gets you a generator and the Forest Seal Stone. And we know the Forest Seal Stone's in the deck, even if there's only one, because we saw it off one of the generators. So I don't love this research over Arven choice here from Brian. This is like these are the times where Arven is so good, because it kind of like almost guarantees you exactly what you want. But I think, oh no, it's an escape rope. Yeah, I think, yeah, Brian's going to whiff this turn 1 attack here. Yeah. Thinking about using the path. I don't hate it. I don't really love it. It does get rid of Greninja. It's probably worth. And now Hunter can do, there's a lot of things Hunter can do. You can punch with the Cram. Attack with Greninja. I don't know if Hunter plays Echoing Horn, because you could go Greninja, KO, Mareep, and try and Echoing Horn it back into play later on. It's possible that Brian's able to keep their bench full, so it might not be actually possible. Yeah, but even punching with Cram this turn is fine. A punch with a Raikou is pretty solid as well. Just hit it for 200 damage. You don't have to KO it. You can clean it up later with Sableye. That's why like Lost Box is... I mean, that's why Lost Box is so good as a deck, but like in this matchup, any damage you put in play is so easy to utilize in this matchup. So I'm not, yeah, with this setup though, I'm not sure if you quite want to push your Raikou here as Hunter. I don't know, you got like a lot of options to be honest. I think Brian played that turn well. He just got unlucky. I mean, I think you should have used Arven though as Brian. Like, what are the times for Arven if not that turn right there? I think that is the turn to Arven there for Brian. I think Brian definitely should have used Arven there and gotten a generator and gotten the 4 Seal Stone, seen how the generator went, and then potentially use the 4 Seal Stone. I think attacking. I think getting that first. Why Arven? Because you're more likely to get off a turn 1 attack. Their generator expecting the first two. Expecting the first two to whiff. Wait, their generator expecting the first. No. Don't play Arven. No, because his hand was Arven Research and 2 generators, and then play the generators, whiffed, and then at that point you should play the Arven, get a generator, get the 4 Seal Stone, play the generator. I don't know. I just think getting the turn 1 attack off is just too important. Like the chance that you see a generator off a research is not that likely at that point with only 2 left, maybe even 1. I don't know if any were prized. So just guaranteeing the generator plus seals because you also have to move the active at that point as well. Then you would have to 4 Seal Stone for a switch card. Not if you hit double off generator, then you attach retreat. But if you do, then you do. But like not whiffing the turn 1 attack, I feel like is worse. Research bad, more likely to draw into energies rather than the generator. Well, drawing into the energies doesn't matter. Your chance of the generator hitting energy is the same thing if you research. Like if you play the generator before the research or after the research, your odds of hitting energy off the generator are the exact same. Now, of course, you could research into 6 energy, but like you're not playing as if that's going to happen. You're just like, my odds are the same, basically. Because you can also hit 0 energy off the research, and then you draw 7 cards out of your deck that are not energy. So your generator odds are the same if you see a generator. So that doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that you guarantee the generator versus probably not see a generator is like the difference. Like, I don't know. It depends how important the turn 1 attack is. Because if you play the research here, you're almost never getting the turn 1 attack. I thought you were saying to Arven before generator. Oh, no. To be honest, I don't hate the Arven before generator though either though. But like I don't think I would. I think you well, to be honest, the more that I'm thinking about it, I don't hate Arven before generator because I don't hate the Arven before generator because it still progresses you. Like what more do you need to progress off the board state? Playing the research is like overall better because you'd like to like judge the next turn and stuff, but all right, Hunter's quite a ways through their deck here. 6 in the lost zone. We're not quite at 7, but I'm pretty sure Hunter has a vacuum there. Has anyone made a sim to prove it is the same? I don't think you need to make a sim. I think you should do that. When you do the math, it's the same. You don't need to like you don't need to simulate it. You just do the math. Arven before generator because they didn't need to research. I mean, but like you want to play the research though. That's the thing. You would want to play research because you just get to see more and have more options on your following turn. So you don't need to maximize your outs on the 2 generators. Like there's a balance to it of like you shouldn't fully play into maximizing your 2 generators before using them. When you like if you value playing the research that turn that much highly, I think aren't you slightly less likely after research because every time you draw a card, an electric energy is the most likely card to draw? No, it just doesn't matter, Josh. It's equal because you could draw a card that's not an energy. Well, no, energy is the most likely card out of cards. You're more likely to draw any card that isn't energy as opposed to a card that is energy though. So that math doesn't even make sense because it's energy versus every card, not energy versus every other card, the account of every other card. And also, when you play the research, you could draw into cards that thin your deck. So if you draw into an Ultra Ball, you can play an Ultra Ball and that thins your deck out by a card, then increasing the chances of the generator hitting energy afterwards. So it's not 14 energy versus 4 Ultra Balls or 14 energy versus, I don't know, 3 other researches. It's 14 energy versus 46 other cards. I would have to do the math again, but I remember the last time I did the math with someone, it worked out where it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So actually, no. Actually, playing the research increases your odds. Playing the research increases your odds of... Like, this is why you fleet-footed before you generator, because you could fleet-footed into an Ultra Ball, then you play the Ultra Ball. Well, this is why you fleet-footed before using generator, if your odd is to maximize your outs of hitting generator. If you want to hit like a boss off fleet-footed, then you should use the generator first. Now I'm lost. Yeah. I did the math with someone one time and we figured that using it doesn't change your odds. It doesn't change your odds. It just feels really bad if you research into generator and 6 lighting energy. It would just feel really bad if you did that, but your odds are exactly the same. Before you play the research, your odds are exactly the same, and whatever you draw off the research should not factor into whether or not you research. But if you're trying to maximize outs of the generator, you actually research first because Well, I guess that one doesn't really make any sense because you don't have the generator in your hand before the research anyways. That would be bad variance. Yeah, you just have the pour into variance. All right, we got the Dragonite attack here from Hunter. To be honest, this seems fine to me. There's an energy on the Raikou here, and the Raikou can't want to KO Dragonite unless Brian does play. Now, Brian could play the Zapdos, which actually allows the Raikou to actually KO the Dragonite. So yeah, Hunter's just going all out here, getting the knockout. That honestly seems fine to me. Like, you can just go the aggressive prize trade route here as Hunter. It can get a little bit scary if you draw your cards too fast as Hunter, though, because then all of a sudden the Iono might hit before you have too much set up. But as long as like Hunter can like bench a Sableye next turn and get like an energy on a Sableye, and then also attack with Raikou to respond to Brian's Raikou, then you should be in a good spot. But also, what Brian probably wants to actually do here is attack with Miraidon and not bench any Pokemon. But that's already out the window. But I guess, well, no, the Raichu needs 4 energy. Oh no, wait, Miraidon can't KO Dragonite unless Brian plays. No, you have to go with the Raichu here. I don't think Brian plays Zapdos, so you have to go with yeah. I don't think Brian plays Zapdos, so Brian has to go with 4 energy Raichu here to actually get the KO. Which is actually just like, yeah, Raichu just attacking with Raichu in this match. We saw this yesterday when we VOD reviewed the round 7 match where Christian just kept attacking with Raichu over and over into Lost Box and just like kept running out of energy. Yeah, Raichu is a terrible attacker in this matchup, but it is also Brian's only out to KO the Dragonite, so you kind of are forced into it. And it's gonna be tough though here for Brian. Brian's got 2 generators left. I don't know if they're both in the deck. Has to hit a generator and then hit an energy off generator. And even if Brian gets that, even if Brian KOs this Dragonite, which Brian whiffed, even if, well, we got this Pokestop still. Hold up, let's hit up the stop. Even if Brian gets the KO on the Dragonite, jeez. Even if, dude, it's so sad. Even if that happened, and Brian gets the KO on the Dragonite, to be honest, actually, Brian gets the KO on the even if Brian gets the KO on the Dragonite, you have no energy in play at that point. That's where I was going with this. Jesus, man. I actually think Brian should have attached for turn to the Flying Pikachu. Brian should have attached for turn to the Flying Pikachu. Because if you need 4 energy in play anyways, you would need to go Flaffy to the Raichu plus Generator to the Raichu, so that's still 4. But then you could actually try and paralyze the Dragonite, because you just lose at this point. If Brian whiffs, you just lose. So if you're just going to lose anyways, you may as well flip a coin on a Flying Pikachu and then hope that hopefully you hit heads and hopefully Hunter does not have a switch card, and then we're back in business. So actually, the attachment for turn, I think, from Brian should have gone to the Flying Pikachu, because this just doesn't do anything. Hitting with Raikou here for not a KO is effectively doing nothing. So you effectively are doing nothing here. Actually, no, that wasn't. Okay, there was a switch card in hand. So actually, if Brian had fleet-footed into a generator, so actually this was probably the correct play, actually. Fleet-footed into generator, play generator, generator hits, switch card back into the Raichu, Raichu takes a knockout. Okay, so it's actually probably correct, because there's a switch card in hand. Is that better than the 50? No, because it's less than a 50-50 on the Flying Pikachu, because it's like a 50-50, you get heads, and then Hunter has to also not have a switch card, which is unlikely, especially with Pokestop in play, so. It's more like a, I don't know, an 80-20, probably worse. 10% of the time, 10% of the time, Brian gets heads, and then Hunter doesn't have a switch card. Maybe less. But yeah, basically, this game, actually, you know, to be honest, I don't want to for sure say this game is over, because Iono is about to hit really hard here. Hunter's been through their deck a decent amount and just palpated back into Colress. So I feel like Hunter's in a pretty good spot right here. Yeah, I feel like Hunter's in a pretty good spot right here overall. So I'm going to go ahead and say this one's pretty much over, especially if Hunter can like play a Mirage Gate or 2, or even just get an energy attachment down. Like Mirage Gate, an energy to like 2 energy to Raikou would be like, if you could, like, theoretically Mirage Gate lightning something to Raikou and then it's attached Psychic to Sableye, that'd just be like kind of gross, to be honest. Like, yeah, if Hunter has something like that, then we're kind of cooking here. We'll see. Boss on the Flying P. Wait, why? Also Choice Bell. What the heck? Why? Is this correct? Wait, why do we want Choice Bell for? I guess it lets Dragonite. It just lets Dragonite hit the numbers, right? But there's no Arceus X anymore. I don't know if the Choice Bell's actually worth it. It doesn't seem that good. I guess Lost Tina. You get to 1 KO a Tina. Why not just KO the Raikou though? I'm a little bit lost on this boss KO, to be honest. This is not making much sense to me at all, to be honest. I don't know why. Afraid of the VMAX? I guess maybe. Yeah. No one plays the VMAX. No one ever plays the VMAX. But I guess like maybe it's the only way you lose here is Hunter is like a potential VMAX. Even then, you probably don't lose though. But I guess it could be like a way to lose. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's okay. All right, some energy coming back to the deck with a Super Rod. Also, Brian needs to find an Iona. I don't know, though. I don't like that. I just KO the Raikou. The Raikou is like actually like a big part of Brian's draw power as well. I think you just KO the Raikou there. You remove 2 energy from play. You remove the draw power from play. And the Raikou, like, when you're not going to find Pikachu, you effectively remove the pivot. But because you didn't remove 2 energy from play, the Raikou effectively becomes the pivot at this point as well. So, yeah. There's a hit. No extra energy setup in play. So there is a possibility for an Iono to make a comeback here for... Oh, it was the next card! No way! The Generator was the next card. All right. Yeah, I don't see an Iono in hand here for Brian. So I probably should have used Miraidon first there from Brian as well. I don't know if there's any Pokemon that Brian wants to search. Also doesn't want to fill up the bench too much though as well, to be honest, because of the Raikou. Actually, you don't want to bench any other Pokemon. So good call on Brian for not to bench another Pokemon, to be honest. What do we got? 100, 120... Oh, wait, the Raikou actually still KOs this other Raikou here. So you have to attack with Miraidon here as Brian. Because Raikou's doing 120, 150, 210. Yeah, so you have to attack with Miraidon here as Brian. I don't think Brian has an Iono, so I think this game is pretty much cooked. If there's no Iono here, I don't see how. Hunter probably doesn't have game in hand, but it's possible. Here's the Fleet-Footed. Another Generator. Triple hit. I wonder how much better... I guess Generator would be if it could take more than 2 energy. It's just like... a little bit better, I guess, right? One of those energy, honestly, well, Hunter did just play the boss's orders. One of them probably should have gone to the Flaffy, though. There's no reason to ever have this many energy on the Raichu, because if you attack with Raichu, you could just discard the energy off the Flaffy if you want to keep more on the Raichu. So this never makes any sense, to be honest. It's a little bit nitpicky at this point, but this third energy should go to the Flaffy. Also, we shouldn't bench. Should we bench? 120, 200. I guess the extra 20 HP of the Miraidon keeps that out of range, so it's probably fine to bench the Raichu, to be honest. But then we should have used Miraidon to actually search a card out of the deck instead if there was anything left in the deck. I don't know if there was anything left in the deck. The switch card, I don't know if it's better to keep the switch card in the hand versus playing it, to be honest. There's the first knockout finally for Brian. It should be a little bit too late, but we'll see if Hunter has the win condition. Also, like, Hunter playing the boss there means now Hunter doesn't have the win condition of boss this turn as well. So that's like another thing, I guess. See, I don't know. I don't know. Just came in the Raikou there from Hunter just felt like it was better. I don't know. Flying Pikachu, I guess, is like the VMAX, I guess, is like a theoretical threat, but I don't think it's like real. I don't think it's real. Why bench Raichu? I don't think there's a reason, to be honest. I think probably not benching it is correct. Not benching it is probably correct. Ooh, got rid of the... Might have just game. Hunter might just have game here, though. Recovering all the stuff for the Dragonite, so I've assumed the Dragonite is just winning the game here for Hunter. Yeah, water attached plus Mirage Gate. Okay. Yeah, I was like, we maybe want that Pokestep to bump the path so we can actually use Greninja, but you think Miraidon is better with or without path? Depends on what's popular. Yeah, depends on what's popular. Probably better if depends on popular Guardy is. I would have to also test Miraidon without path against Lugia. I have no idea how that matchup feels without path. With path, it's like fine. With path, I think it's like 50-50. Without path, if you don't have path in Miraidon, if you're unfavored against Lugia, then I think the path build is the better build right now. But if not, then it comes down to how popular Gardevoir is for path versus no path, because path is definitely better against Gardevoir. And then past that, if like Lost Box is popular enough, you just shouldn't play Miraidon. So yeah, it just kind of depends on... I would just have to play the Lugia matchup first of all to be like, okay, without path, how does this matchup feel without path? For sure. Because if it feels terrible without path, then I would just say you got to play the path build. So how is Miraidon unfavored against Lugia? They just win the prize trade with Stonjourner. If Lugia draws perfectly, they always win the prize trade, basically. All right, game 2 here. Cram prize for Hunter, not great. But someone in chat said that Brian was choosing to go second, so that means it shouldn't matter too much because if Hunter's going first, then the cram is going to be less of a big deal. But then I believe Brian drew for turn as if they're going first, and they are not going first. Also, Brian benched a bunch of Pokemon, which you shouldn't do that. Don't do that. So let's skip ahead here, see what happens. If it is a DPL, I think we're just going to skip to the head of the... Yeah, it is a DPL, so Hunter only needs... So Hunter's going first. That kind of sucks. Oh, man. I don't know. Do we want to watch the rest of this? I'm sure this is just like a slaughter from Hunter to win the game with the DPL. I don't understand. Like, this matchup is already bad enough. Yeah, just a slaughter. That's it. We're not gonna watch this. That's too hard to watch. We're not watching that one.